My lovely sovereign sisters, hello, hello. Welcome to the show. Per usual, do not forget to like, okay, press the thumbs up and going ahead and hop in the chat to interact. Hello to all my sovereign sisters that are in the chat. Hello, hello. And also, do not forget to subscribe and make sure that you click the notification bell. That way, you get a notification every time that I schedule a live stream. I try to schedule them about a minimum of like 4 to 6 hours out. That way, people can plan to watch whatever it is that I'm going to be talking about. So, shout out to Melissa. She actually emailed me this interview that pretty much did a deep dive into misogyny. It is done in the British UK. And the whole reason why they did this is because there were some R words that took place, and with there being a rise in feminism, they decided that they wanted to interview a gentleman. I have not watched the whole thing. I've literally only watched the beginning and kind of scrubbed through. So that way everything is authentic when it comes to my reaction and us breaking this down. But pretty much, they interviewed this gentleman to get a deeper insight into misogyny and how men are pretty much essentially conditioned to hate women. Because honestly, that's really what it is. Because men are taught to just be everything that a woman is not. And so, pretty much, what is happening is that they're being taught to demonize everything that a woman possesses, that a woman embodies. So, of course, it makes sense that they don't like you, they don't like us, and they hate us because they've pretty much been taught to. So, let's go on ahead and open this, and I'll share the screen with you all. 1 second here. Oh, wait, before we get started, my Patreon princesses, I got a couple more lovely Patreon princesses that subscribed to me. In case you are not aware, my Patreon, it's $7 a month. I have a male validation traps ebook on there, and pretty much most of the voice memos are regarding dark manipulation. So, like how to control men, how to get money from men, and then I also give examples on how to use this like in society, so like socially, and then also how to use these things in the workplace to be able to manipulate people so that you can get a raise or you can get a promotion and things like that. And then also I get pretty vulnerable about like my past dancing experience and also about things that are currently happening in my life. So if you are interested in joining the Patreon, like I said, it's $7 a month, and I already have the link in the description. I like preset it so that the Patreon link will be in the descriptions moving forward, because I've been really bad about remembering to add it after the fact. So it's already in the description of my bio, the link to my Patreon. So let me see. I can't necessarily remember where I left off from the last time that I had mentioned the last people that subscribed. So I'm sorry if I skipped over you, but okay, so Tweety Bim, Miss Privy, Elisheva, Fifi86, Jade, D Cherise, CB, Danny M, Caroline, Bree, and Sharik Havoc. Thank you for joining my Patreon. I appreciate it. All right, now we're gonna jump into what we're gonna be watching.
Force the question of misogyny back into the public forum. But feminism and the Me Too movements have failed to stop the problem. So is it time for men to give an explanation and an account for their behaviour? Well, with us to help us understand this misogyny is Previn Karian. Now, Previn, somebody said on a sort of slightly lighter note before we get into this that they described it as the oldest human prejudice. And there are lots of references throughout history to it, starting with Adam and Eve, where Eve copped all the blame for what happened to them. And Plato said that men should stick with intellect and women with sexuality. So I think that says it all, really. But of course, of recent times, it has come to something truly horrible for women in terms of terror and hate and aggression and violence. And so we are talking about real hate from men to women, aren't we?
Yeah, and those references to Plato and Adam and Eve are absolutely right, because once again, the problem of misogyny cannot be solved by looking at it as a cultural issue or something you can legislate against, although there urgently needs to be legislation to stop men being misogynistic and conducting the hate crimes that they do. But it is a psychological problem, Chrissy, and it is a mental health issue. And once again, because the pharmaceutical industry don't have a drug that can cure us of misogyny, it doesn't appear anywhere in psychiatric manuals, but it is a disorder because it is a state of mind, specifically in the male brain, that feels a need to terrorize women, to humiliate women, because actually, when you strip away all the machismo of the male persona, when you strip away all this bravado and posturing that men do, they are very scared brains inside the male skull. And this is something that needs to be understood without trying to shame men, by the way. This is not an occasion to simply attack men. What we need to do is try and ask ourselves, where is the problem of misogyny located? And it is.
So he just said a bar there, okay? He just said a bar there because he literally just said that on the most basic level, men are scared, men are weak. And this is the reason why men are always searching for validation. This toughness, this masculinity, this confidence, this is all a persona. All of this is fake. All of this is performative, okay? Do not be fooled. Men are not confident. They're very weak. They're scared of everything. Like they're scared of other men. They're terrified of other men. They're very, very scared. And they're scared of women. They're fucking scared of women. Why do you think there was the Salem witch trials? Why do you think they created religion and like painted it like they already referenced the Bible? Why do you think that they painted this picture a certain way of women? Because at the end of the day, no matter what your religious beliefs are, no matter where you stand religiously, all of those books were written by a man. Okay, no matter what, they're fictional books. Like no matter what your religion is, you can't argue that those are all fictional books. Someone wrote those books, and they were just the mantra that everyone had followed. This is the reason why men always want to terrorize women and harass women, because it's a projection. They hate their lives, they hate themselves, and so they want to make everyone else miserable around them because their lives suck. They're really crappy people.
It's clearly not in the law. It is clearly not in culture. It is somewhere in the human brain. This need from men to attack women in this way, which indicates that actually the fundamental root of this is men are terrified by women.
So they are emasculated, are they, by women? That's what we do to them.
It isn't what women do to men. It is something more fundamental than that, Chrissy. So around 15 years ago, I went to a seminar up in London at a Lacanian centre. And somebody called Jean-Jacques Bernstein from Paris came over, and he was talking about Lacan's idea from Freud that men think of themselves through their genitals, okay, which is the penis and the phallus. And so men actually think like that. And Bernstein,
you guys, that's important what he just said, how men think of themselves through the phallus. This is why in rap songs and rap music, they're always glorifying what's in between their legs. They're always glorifying what's in between their legs, because men literally just see themselves through their penis. That's the reason why they send women dick pics. They send women dick pics because it's a projection. They look at themselves through the lens of their penis, and that is pretty much like what fuels their validation. Like it's their selling point. And so that's the reason why they will send women unwarranted dick pics, because that's how they look at themselves through their phallus. Also, someone made a good point in the chat and said that misogyny predates racism. If you do the history on marriage, and if you do the history on women being oppressed through marriage, women were the first slaves. Women were the first slaves, except our form of slavery, although it isn't in the form of slavery when you think of racism, because you have to think of it like this. You can't slaughter 50% of the population. You can't slaughter your future creators of the future workforce. So of course they were not going to just straight up, ship us and, harm us and do all those things to us. And so what they kind of had to do was, that's where marriage was created, because it was a less barbaric way of slavery of women. But the blueprint of slavery was based off of the oppression of women first. Women were slaves before they further separated us into races, and then they just used that on a more nefarious level when it came to race. So this is why I always tell women, when you're thinking about getting married, you really should look into the history of marriage. And maybe I will do a live stream when I talk more about that. But you really should look on a historical level and ask yourself and really pay attention to what you're asking for, because how they have marriage painted today, it really didn't start out like that. And I mean, you can talk to, this is the reason why married women tend to not remarry, because it's just a livable form of slavery. That's really what it is. It's a livable form of slavery. It's a tolerable level of unhappiness.
Einstein made this incredible comment, and he said, that's why men are dickheads. Okay? Now, I took that away as something way more profound than men being dickheads. What it told me was that women can give birth to children. Men will never do that. Women have a relationship with the earth and with cooking in their stereotypes. Men rarely do. Men don't have a fundamental relationship with life. They have short, shriveled phalluses for most of the time. They can't experience sexual pleasure like women can. They are inferior. They can't give birth to a child. They don't know what giving birth to life means. Men, psychologically and biologically, do not have a relationship with life. That's why they are terrified of women. It's not about emasculation. It's about the fundamental biological, psychological makeup of men. They are terrified. They are inferior species.
So once again, he's dropping bars. Like, he is over here dropping bars. This is the reason why you see what is happening politically to women's reproductive rights. Men have womb envy. Men have womb envy. When men say that they don't like single mothers and they don't like women with children, the reason why is because they're jealous of the fact that you gave birth. They're jealous of the fact that you gave birth. You know how they say anything you can do, I can do better? A man will never be able to give birth better than you because he doesn't have the ability to do it. You literally will be able to match a man in pretty much every sense of the fact as a pretty much physicality. But even then, if you look at it, the average amount of weight that a man can bench press is 135 pounds. I can bench, not now, but like at my peak of me weightlifting, I was able to bench press 155 pounds. So actually, if a woman actually wants to go that far, a woman actually does have the ability to kick a man's ass. There was actually a fight between I think they were in the military, and there was this black woman, and I think they're both in the military. She beat this guy's ass in the ring. So even on a physical level, women actually do still have the ability to be able to beat men when it comes to a physical level. Men will never be able to give birth. They will never be able to give birth. So when you look at education, women tend to be more educated than men. We tend to have more emotional intelligence than men. We pretty much outpace men in every single area. So when you add on top of that the fact that we can also bring life, into this world, men are terrified about that. This is also the reason why they like demonize menstrual periods and stuff like that. All of those things are powerful. Okay, like you literally have a portal in your body that can bring out life. Like literally, you're a goddamn superhuman. If you are a woman, you're a superhuman.
The thing is, there are lots of grades of misogyny, it seems to me, and we will look in a minute at what happens in the case of rapes and killings, which are truly terrible in society, and I think everybody agrees. But on a lesser level, I think having worked in an industry where it was perfectly normal to go around pinching a girl's bottom or make comments about how she looked or grope her. And I do remember occasion when I was reading the news on radio, and there was a panel between us, a glass panel, and the man dropped his trousers, and just to see if I'd go on reading the news. Did I go and complain? Did I take them to a tribunal? No, because I needed the job. So are we not making all too much fuss of the slightly lesser grades of misogyny?
The microaggressions that you're talking about are quite tragic, and it's actually quite painful to hear you saying, I needed a job. Okay, that's hideous, that women have to put up with this kind of behavior, not just because they need a job, but actually because society tells them, oh, this is so funny, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, let's reverse the situation. If men found that foul, repulsive women came up to them and pinched their bottoms and made leering comments and groped their penises inside their trousers, do you honestly think, Chrissy, that men are going to sit there and go, this is so funny, I won't complain, I just need to do that for my job? No, men would probably physically slap the woman back. They would be angered and outraged. Imagine a woman saying to a man, you men, you have small penises most of the time. Do you think a man would find that funny? No. He would find it a deep insult because it strikes at the root of his inferiority. Now, why is it that men don't have to tolerate that kind of abuse? Why is that not a social norm? But it's okay for women to be subject to that kind of constant abuse and harassment. It's in the newspapers, Chrissy. It's constant.
And this is why I always tell women that you should shame men. You should stop trying to protect their ego. You should spill the tea on their behavior, and if they're being I'm just gonna say abusive, because I don't want them to strike me or anything. If they're being abusive, if they're cheating, you should expose the hell out of them. You should expose the hell out of them, and you should shame them for all of their inadequacies, because men don't have a problem doing it to women. And the reason why men don't have a problem with doing it to women is because women just tolerate it. Women just tolerate it, and women don't check them. Women do not check men when they do shit like this. Like, no, I'm sorry. You have to fight fire with fire when it comes to men. We are in the time now where you just can't sit back and like let this shit fly and be the bigger person. Men don't respect you for being the bigger person. Like, no, you're gonna have to throw a jab back at them. I'm happy we have the freedoms we have, but we still have far to go. Yes, and then not only that, like, they're taking our freedoms away. Like, they are slowly stripping away our freedoms and our reproductive rights and things like that. Like, it's crazy that there are women that are like getting IUDs and women that are like stocking up on birth control because they really don't know what the future holds when it comes to your reproductive rights. You know what I mean? There are married couples who decided, well, like, you'll just get a vasectomy and I'll get my tubes tied. Because even if you do have like a marriage with your husband, the way that these rights are going, you having if you have like a miscarriage or something like that, you are not going to be given any reproductive care. You know what I mean? It's bigger than just you. I'm just going to call it an AB, because that's what we call in the medical field, but it's bigger than you just getting an AB. If you actually did consent to having a baby and consent to getting pregnant, and your pregnancy comes with complications, you will not be given help. I jabbed with my last Uber driver. He drove past my stop. Yes. You're in the trenches now. My bench press max used to be 99 pounds. Oh, that's actually pretty good. I'm happy. Yep, I already read that. Well, that's trippy. Back then, women had to be the cook and the maid to some average man in marriage because they had no choice. Exactly. Periods were known as the curse. Exactly. I don't compete with men. I let them improve my life. You don't ever have to compete with men. And you want to know why? The reason why you don't ever have to compete with men is because naturally, as a woman, you're more superior than them. So as a woman, you'll never have to compete with them, because just your existence, just the fact that you're a woman purely already outshines them. You're already more superior than them. That's the reason why they had to create things like religion to turn it around and have it where the women are inferior and the men are superior, because men did not like the fact that women could give birth, just like what this man is saying.
It's the body shaming that goes on with women.
Yes. And of course, there are, you know, even this week I was reading about some quite well-known man who was said to be a bit handsy. This is the new word. So this means that they kind of grope, and that's sort of all right, because we aren't going to take to court over it, but we'll all sort of have a laugh behind our hands at it. This is even women taking that view because that person's well known, that man. So we aren't prepared. Look at the Me Too movement. They said, right, they've actually had some success. They're prepared to sacrifice getting jobs to stop men groping them and taking them to bed.
Yes, and that's why misogyny is a very new idea. And because it's been foundational even in religions, you know, the adulterers in the Old Testament get stoned to death. nothing for the man, nothing at all, okay? And that attitude symbolizes something foundational in a lot of religions. Now, of course, people now in modern society are realizing that we've got to move on from this. Why? Because women are seen as equal human beings to men. And that strikes terror at the heart of men. You've got a very populist psychologist called, clinical psychologist called Jordan Peterson. And he's massively successful because he's reinforcing this idea that women are inferior, want to be slaves, like to use sexual manipulation to get men to do what they want. And what he's reinforcing in men is we are terrified of women, we need to stay superior. And that isn't a view that most modern women, educated women, are going to tolerate, because they are going to feel like, actually, I'm a human being like you are, and you don't have the right to grope me, you don't have the right to be handsy. And sadly, the people who are going around laughing behind their hands and talking about handsy stuff are people who tragically need to keep their jobs.
Well, if we go up a grade to something that's extremely common, and that's domestic violence. So 1 in 4 people across the world will have physical violence from a partner. 1 in 3 will have sexual violence. Police get 100 calls an hour just in the UK alone. I mean, it's not only that, but apparently there's so many people having to be rehomed. It costs an absolute fortune. So it's a real epidemic, domestic violence. And I'm wondering, we're not all stupid women when we meet men, and men can be extremely charming. We don't know that they're going to start attacking us and hit us because we say the wrong thing. Why does it happen?
So he mentioned the Me Too movement. I remember when the Me Too movement got like big, and like, you know, a lot of like actresses and things like that, when they were coming forth, when they were talking about Harvey Weinstein. And I remember a lot of men were saying things like, well, he wanted, the man asked you to come to his hotel room. What did you expect? What did you expect? And so this is the thing about men. Men want you, when it comes to situations like this, men want you to view them as people that will harm you. They want you to view them as people that will, you know, really just try to pursue you for sex. And then they'll blame it on you and be like, oh, well, you should have known that I just wanted to sleep with you. You know, this is why men get mad when they fly women out. And then, you know, they get mad because they're like, you know, I flew you out and you didn't want to give me any sex. You didn't want to sleep with me. And the reason why is because women usually try to give men the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? Usually women are trying to look at men through a lens of purity and trying to look at them as good people. And so the thing about it is that men don't want you to look at them as good people. They clearly don't want you to look at them as good people, because who says that to someone that has been a victim of R word or been a victim of DV and things like that? And so I'm glad that she asked this question to say, you know, men come off very charming, you know, and so this, with the whole DV thing and the statistics that she gave, the thing about it is this. Men will always try to blame women for being victims of, you know, abuse in some form. But my thing is this. If someone wants to harm you, a person is not going to have a good chance of harming you if their first interaction with you is them saying, so, hey, I want you to get in a relationship with me where I will manipulate you. I will mentally abuse you. I will emotionally abuse you. I will physically abuse you. Is it okay if you get in a relationship with me and you let me do that to you? Like, no, of course not. No, there would be, if someone was that forthcoming and honest about their intentions, there would be no DV, there would be no R wording, there would be none of that would happen, because you would know exactly what they're doing and you would make the choice to be like, no, I don't want any of those things to happen. So this is why men are like, oh, you should have chose better. Oh, you should have chose better. Well, yeah, but you're leaving out the fact that you're manipulating women to get them in a position where they're going to be vulnerable and they're going to be able to be at the hands of your abuse.
Because it's not the woman's issue. It's not the women's fault. There is something wrong with men. And women cannot solve the problem. Feminism has tried and failed because men have to find a psychological ability to look at their brains and ask themselves, Why do I have this need to physically beat up a weaker woman? Why? Why do I feel that compulsion or right that I can act like this?
Well,
And
because
it's a men's question to themselves. It's nothing that women should be asking men. It's something men should be asking each other and themselves.
But a lot of men, I mean, even men who serve on quite important city boards will say, oh, no, we don't want too many women. They talk too much, they're difficult. And then going back to the domestic violence situation, they don't want to be contradicted. They don't want to be told what to think or what to do. Men want to rule, the sort of patriarchy. They want to be in charge.
It's more than that. It is a patriarchy, and that's my point about the psychological illness in men. Men are profoundly inferior and profoundly aggressive, and that's biologically wired into their brain. And that's why they go around causing wars. That's why they go around destroying other nations, because men have something seriously unevolved and unadapted inside their brain structure.
How did it get there?
It's a biological need, but for some reason, and I really can't explain it, the male species is unlike any other on the planet. There is no other animal that acts towards its own kind, and kinship is a key thing in biology. Okay, there is no other animal on the planet that acts to its own kind the way the male brain acts towards its own kind. What the male brain does is seriously mentally disordered. And if you don't understand it as a mental illness and keep just trying to find laws and talk about culture, you will not even come close to the problem, because it's a psychological disease.
Laws they are trying. The Domestic Abuse Act of 2021 in the UK, and even the EU is trying to persuade its 27 members that hate crime should be on their treaty. So, whether they'll do any good, I don't know, but it's window dressing perhaps.
Well, let me give you an example of something that's very common in terms of what actually happens if a woman can get her case in law, okay? And I'm going to take an example from France so that we don't just batter the UK, and help to understand that this is actually deeply cultural, this violence towards women from men, okay? It's a male brain disorder. So there's an Olympic judo gold medalist in Paris. Her name is Margot Pinot. She's 27 years old. And she gets beaten up by her partner, who is her trainer. And so they were lovers. And he attacks her at her flat. Now, he wrestles her to the ground, verbally abused her, punched her many times, repeatedly smashed her head on the ground, and tried to strangle her. Facial injuries included a fractured nose. Neighbors helped her escape. The judge said there's not enough evidence for guilt.
And people wonder why, that, like, for instance, that situation with Cassie and Diddy. There was a whole tape of P. Diddy, like, kicking Cassie, hurting Cassie, putting his hands on her. Like, he literally chased after her during her escape in a fucking towel. And people still went out of their way to defend this man. And, like, even when she came forward with the allegations before, no one wanted to believe her. And so a lot of this is gaslighting. And this is the reason why a lot of, like, victims of the R word or abuse and things like that, they never come forward because of this. Like, the justice system does not care. Men are always saying, like, oh, the court system is always looking after women when it comes to children. No, the court system is always looking after men when it comes to how they treat women. Always. Like, they will say that that's not enough proof, but there are women out here who are behind bars because they unalived their attacker. They unalived their S-trafficker. They unalived someone that had pimped them out. And the woman is behind bars because she defended herself against a man that was harming her. Like, this is a very, very serious issue. And this is the reason why you have to, like, stay far away from men, especially with the rhetoric that they're taking in these days with, like you said, Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate, Kevin Samuels. That rhetoric in this content that these men are taking, it's dangerous. It's dangerous because it's fueling a growing resentment towards women to the point where they want to harm women. I said it before on one of my other live streams. When the pandemic happened, that was when Kevin Samuels really got to fame. And right when the pandemic happened, the statistics of domestic violence shot up. The statistics shot up for cases of domestic violence. Femicide has been high since the panini. Let me not say the actual word. Since the panini. So this is serious. Like, this is serious stuff. And they always say, even statistically, for a pregnant woman, your cause of death, if you do end up dying, it's not going to be from the pregnancy. It's going to be from your partner harming you. Something is wrong with these men. Something is wrong with these men. Diddy was jealous of Cassie's beauty. He wants him a man. So from what I heard, because I always watch Sloan. I watch Sloan, the woman, like the medium, the psychic lady or whatever. But there's also the content creator Sloan. He's this gay man who does like the blind items and stuff like that. From what people say and from what like people close to Diddy say, pretty much the reason why he went after Cassie was because Cassie reminded him of J-Lo. And like J-Lo was the one that got away. And so that's why he pretty much made Cassie his victim, because Cassie reminded him of J-Lo. Then suddenly people believed her after seeing the video. Exactly. It shouldn't have taken a video for people to believe Cassie. Exactly. A rule of thumb. Family court is a broken system and biased against women. Exactly. Exactly. I'm going through the comments. I felt so bad for Cassie when people didn't believe her. Me too. What's the video? That's not what Jordan Peterson said. I've watched plenty of content from Jordan Peterson in a pretty much in a short form, like in a synopsis. Pretty much Jordan Peterson does say things like that. Pretty much Jordan Peterson in some context will kind of paint the rhetoric to men where women are going to be highly manipulative and women can. The thing about it is this: men don't like their weakness for women. They don't. Like, I've had men literally tell me this. Men do not like their sexual weakness that they have for women. But the thing about it is that patriarchy was the one that told them to fuel those urges. Patriarchy was the one that told them to be sexually driven. All they did was listen to patriarchy, and now they can't stand themselves, and men hate themselves because they hate the fact that their whole being is just revolved around them sleeping with someone. Like that, like honestly, like if you've been with a man and you no longer could sleep with a man and something happened, you no longer could give a man an orgasm, do you think he would stay with you? Like, do you really, really think that he would stay with you if he got news where it's like, oh, something's gone on and like now like she can't be sexually active, you're not going to be able to get an orgasm from her? He's not staying with you. Point blank period. He's not staying with you. The movie should have come with a trigger warning. Yes. That was traumatic too. The movie had a lot in it. In the war of dark masculine versus the divine feminine. Exactly. Basically, womb envy is hated by man, which is why they overwork to prove themselves. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Yep. I'm familiar with that term, womb envy, but yep, you can look it up. It's definitely a thing. Womb envy was pretty much the root cause for men to come in and harm women and harm children, invade the land of women and unalive women and children, and pretty much create a whole patriarchy. And yes, can you guys please hit the like button? Get the likes up, please. Peterson is a pseudo-intellectual. He just confuses people with his empty big words. Exactly. The thing about it is this. When men do get education, men don't get an education in order to actually help the world. I'm sorry, they don't. Men only get education because it gives them a form of power, and they just abuse their education. Jordan Peterson and that Psycho Hacks guy, these men that get degrees, they just use their degree to say, I'm going to just tell you a bunch of bullshit. And then because I have an education and because I have a degree, you should believe me because I've done studies in this stuff and I work with these types of people. You should just listen to everything it is that I say. Freud got it backward. He actually talks about Freud at the end of this, at the very, very end of this video. So make sure you guys stick around if you can. We're about like almost halfway through, but try to stick around if you can. And to all the people that just joined the live, welcome. The live is going to be kind of long tonight because I want to go through the whole entire interview, and it's around like 30 minutes or so. So tonight will be a little bit longer of a live than normal, I think, because I try to keep them to around 90 minutes. The stuff I've seen in my life is unimaginable. Even the so-called nice guys are the worst. Never believe a man that says that he's a nice guy. Never, ever, ever, ever believe a man that says that he is a nice guy. When a man says that he's a nice guy, all he is just saying is that he won't physically harm you yet. He won't physically harm you. When men call themselves nice, that's what they consider to be nice. Well, I haven't put my hands on you yet, so that makes me a nice guy. That's their bar. That's their barometer for considering themselves to be nice. Nice to men is not anywhere on the same level as what women perceive to be nice. Thank you to my lovely sisters. Most men are unattractive anyway, but I hate craving intimacy. I have dreams about being held by a handsome man. I feel like this. there are some men out there who they really are just only good purely for smecks. And that's the thing. Use a condom with them every single time. Like, don't sleep with them raw. And don't exchange anything really emotional to them. And like only hit them up when you want to sleep with them. Like, and if you're actually like getting satisfied in the bedroom, you know what I mean? My personal belief is that that's the only reason why men aren't created anyway. Men are only created just to sleep with women to help women procreate. That's it. They serve no other purpose. They literally serve no other purpose aside from that. So as long as you find someone that has like decent energy, pretty good energy, they like are happy, they're a relatively happy person, they don't have bad habits, they take care of themselves, they understand your boundaries. Other than that, honestly, I don't really see any man serving a purpose because, like I said before, a lot of them they abuse the power that they do have. So even if they do financially take care of you, usually they abuse that power, because that's the reason why they want those dynamics where like you're not working and they're working because then they can decide. One week they may give you $500, the next week they may give you $100. You know what I mean? You don't know. You're at their beck and call and you're at their will. So it doesn't have to be a man. No, and not taking your essence and draining you. If he's a nice guy, he doesn't have to announce it. Exactly. I say all the time. Nice guys will never have to announce that they're nice. Bill Gates will never have to announce that he's a billionaire because everyone knows that he's a fucking billionaire. If you're a nice guy, your actions will show that you're a nice guy, that you are genuinely a nice guy. Lilith was made first on Adam was made to procreate, but had an issue with her being more dominant. Exactly. Adam did not like Lilith. And like they even talk about this like in a schmexual manner. Lilith wanted to be on top of Adam when it came to their bedroom activities. And Adam hated that. Adam saw that as a form of Lilith wanting to be dominant over Adam. And so that's the reason why that's the reason why it was Adam and Eve, because Eve was more submissive and it made it a lot easier for Adam to put the blame onto Eve when it came to biting the apple. It's akin to saying I'm not a thief. Exactly. LOL, it's like when men say they don't like women that lie because they are lying. Exactly. This is the reason why men are like, well, I don't want someone that's just going to want me for my money because then if I don't have any money, then you're going to leave. Okay, well, that's a projection. That means that if a woman loses something that she once had, so it's usually her youth, her beauty, maybe her ability to procreate, pretty much if you can't do those things and continue those things, he is going to leave you. And that's why he has a fear of him no longer being able to keep something up because he would leave you. And so that's why he has a fear. Just take it one day at a time. I'm waiting for the right one. I'm queer. Oh, I love that. The bro guys always say they are the nice guy. Yep. I always say a man that's broke is always going to try to tell you, but I'll take care. I'll be nice to you and I'll treat you great. Money doesn't mean anything. That's just code for broke. Jordan Peterson said that women who wear makeup to work use it to manipulate the men at the office. Meanwhile, a study just came out that says that women who wear makeup to work make 30% more than women who don't. Like I said before, once again, it's men blaming women for men's schmexual urges and men's schmexual attraction towards women. Men will say all day long they don't like makeup. Yes, the fuck they do like makeup. Yes, the fuck they do like makeup. Makeup makes you look better. I almost unalived my attacker. I could have been in jail today, but God, I endured the abuse and survived. Thank God. Oh, Candace, I'm so glad that you made it out. I am. I'm so proud of you that you made it out because my goodness, I could only imagine how like difficult and traumatizing all that was. Like the women who have overcome like DV, the women who have overcome like just horrible mistreatment, they have my like honor and so much respect because oh my goodness, I couldn't imagine. I literally stopped talking to a guy as soon as he told me he was a nice guy. I grew up in church and thought finding a Christian. Oh, it stopped. Yeah, I tell women all the time, stop looking for men in the church. Quit looking for a Christian man. Why would you want to be with a man who roots himself in a religion that tells him that he is superior to you and that you should pretty much be his servant and that you should be forgiving him for cheating on you, for harming you. I mean, there are literally married couples in the church that go to the pastor for counseling, and when the woman explains the man's infidelity, when the man talks about the husband harming her or deviant things like that, these pastors are telling these women, oh, it's the Christian thing to do to forgive, it's the Christian thing to do to stay, it's the Christian thing to do to endure. No, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So you can pass as many treaties as you want. This problem of the brain in the male species occurs in judges, it occurs in politicians, it occurs right across every spectrum, because it isn't a class issue, it's not a religious problem, it's a brain disorder in men.
All men? Are you saying it's all men?
Absolutely, Christine, myself as well. I am a man and I have aggressive male instincts. And the only difference perhaps between me and my own darker self is that I have the ability to admit that to myself. And then I want to confront it. And I want to ask myself, why would I, and why, maybe if I could access them, why would I have sexual violent fantasies towards women? Why do I need that? Why do I feel the need to put women down? Why do I have the need to think of them as inferior? And I can come up with some kind of psychological explanation and say, yes, because I don't have a relationship with life as a man. I have not got the same relational ability as women who are bio-wired to give birth to babies, to raise them up. Men never do that. They don't come close. We don't have the brain wiring to do life, and we don't have the brain wiring to do relationship. Those, for men, are acquired traits, and it comes through a huge amount of relational interaction. And thank God, through psychology and psychoanalysis, we can now start asking questions. Men can start asking themselves questions that have never been asked before about why are we so violent as a species?
Well, I fear the figures are showing they're not enough of them are asking the questions. But if we have a lot of people who watch in these times in South Africa, a lot across Africa and all the world, actually. But I mentioned South Africa because we recently talked to Emily O'Ryan, and she was talking about work they'd been doing there because the problem is so bad of misogyny in South Africa. So let's hear from her.
One of the factors which I'd like to talk about, because it affected you as, well, reasonably young, and that's the violence in South Africa, which children face every day, and during lockdown was no exception. Can you just talk a bit about the violence, the gender violence, and how it affected you?
Yes. Well, South Africa is unfortunately got the unwanted reputation of being unsafe for many females in terms of rates of violence against women. And here we call it the second pandemic. Gender-based violence is the second pandemic in South Africa.
So if we go up the scale now to the very, very worst form where people get murdered, raped and murdered, like Sarah Everard and Sabina Nessa, are we honestly going to say that those killers had a mental disorder? Isn't there something even worse about them?
Yeah, we are tempted, aren't we, to go towards a moral judgment and call them evil. And then we lurch into this idea that if we punish them, therefore, that somehow solves the problem of the male brain that has violence wired into it. It doesn't. I mean, let me just read out some more examples. There were so many I could have brought into the interview. I was actually quite overwhelmed. 2 Metropolitan Police officers, Dennis Jaffa, Jamie Lewis, circulate pictures of 2 dead sisters stabbed to death in a park. And they circulate those pictures to friends with jokes.
I can't remember what platform it was even on, but there was like a platform in China, like an online platform in China, and they literally were exchanging photos of their mothers, of their wives, of their sisters, of their daughters. They were exchanging information on how they could R-word the women that were in their family. They were exchanging tips on how to manipulate them and to put them into predicaments where they could like give them substances that would be able to, make them kind of, not be able to like give consent. These men are terrible creatures. These men are terrible fucking creatures. Like, why would you even want a man? Like, after hearing all of this information, I hope women really think twice about who they have pictured in their mind when it comes to men. Because I'm telling you, what you actually think men are representative of, they're not that. And if you don't take into account this type of content, and if you don't take into account these types of things that men are capable of, you're going to find out the hard way. And the reason why I have this platform, the reason why I talk about things like this is because I want you to make an informed decision. I don't want you to just go in with rose-colored glasses and like come in with like dealing with men and like the lines are blurred. You have no good judgment because you don't know what you're going into. I don't want women to waste 10, 15, 20 years of their lives and then realize like, oh shit, like I've actually been in like a horrible marriage for, the past 2 decades of my life and starting over. Men are capable of this shit. Men are capable of this shit. And you cannot ever write a man off for not being capable of this, because this man already said that misogyny and how men are, that mentally they're ill. Like this man is really saying, he has even counted himself. Like he is so dead set on this that he is even counting himself as being a part of the problem simply because he is a man. That should tell you everything it is that you need to know. Oh, let me go into the chat. My aunt was stabbed to death by her boyfriend. She told him she was leaving him 7 times in front of her children. Don't ever tell him you're leaving. Wow, Renee, I am so sorry. That's terrible. That is terrible. But it's 100% right. If there's any woman that's watching this and you are in a situation with a man that you want to get out of, you must leave silently. You have to leave silently. When he is at work, you make sure that you get the moving truck coming. When he is at work, you move all the shit out, all of your belongings out while he is at work. You make sure that there is no one that knows, that there is no one that he could reach out to that will be able to tell him where it is that you're going. You must leave privately and you must leave silently, because men don't want to be rejected. They don't want to be rejected, and men have no problem unaliving the women in their lives, their children. They will take everyone out because they simply don't want anyone else to have you. And so they would literally go as far as to take someone's life that they claim that they love, that they built a life with, that they had children with. They would go that far to take that person's life away or those people's lives away just because they lost, just because they didn't get to get the life that they thought that they were going to be able to have forever. Something is wrong with them. Something is mentally wrong with them. Hey, Queen, men are extremely demented and sociopathic. Yes. Sorry about the name. I made it to troll straight men. Oh. Do you know how many people committed? Yes, they were criminal. I'm waking up to so many truths. Been living in super religious life till now. Very bad experience with men, no more. Oh, I love that you have removed yourselves from the shackles, Elisheva. I am happy that you are breaking away from those religions, because I remember when I was in X-ray school and I actually worked with a woman, and she was actually a part of a cult. She was a part of a religious cult. And so this is the reason why religion was created. All religions are just different sectors to be able to get women hand delivered to men. So this is why you see things like in Mormonism, they want the women to get married real young. They want the women to have a whole lot of babies. It's to trap these women. It's to pretty much have these women be in servitude to men. But the girl that I was in school with, she was a part of a religious cult, and she was in a horrible marriage. And thankfully, while she was in X-ray school, she actually ended up going through a divorce. And I was actually in clinical with her during her divorce. But I remember her telling me just how like traumatic it was, and like how much like abuse she was having to endure because she got into this religious cult, and she pretty much was like manipulated to believe that this was normal. And then once she realized that this wasn't normal, and that actually she was a victim of being manipulated and abused, she ended up getting a divorce. Grew up in church, and they conditioned women to censor men and use God to enforce it. Even though I found out women were actually the first apostles and were oracles before priests came into play. Exactly. Praying for all us women watching right now. We are here for a reason. Stay alert and trust your instincts. Exactly. Sad but true, but you have to move in silence when leaving a man. You have to. Very true. You need to leave silently. Leave and then send him a text and block. I wouldn't even send him a freaking text. I wouldn't even send him a text. Once I hear dogma from the Abrahamic religion, I stop listening. Exactly. I never truly been religious. I always into science and witchcraft as a kid. Oh my goodness. I grew up in the Catholic Church and I hated going to church. I never liked going to church. I literally used to be so pissed off and like look at my mom and be like, why are we doing this? Like, why are we here? I don't want to freaking be here at all. And yeah, I cut that shit out very early. I've never liked anything regarding religion. Never.
Now, is that not mentally disordered? How could you not say that there is some kind of mental disorder, mental illness in men? And I want to generalize it out to men, because those metropolitan officers are not alone. I could have been one of them. I could have been a sadistic, abusive, murdering, women humiliating
So
person.
what was the difference then? Why aren't you?
The problem, well, with good fortune, I've been able to have mostly a psychological education and the literature that I was exposed to when I was actually 14 years old with Freud and Jung. So I very quickly learned that most problems or most of my anger and hatred were actually about me. Okay, they weren't about white people. They weren't about not being able to get a job. Those factors had a play, but that was not really what was going on. There was something that I had to continuously work out about where I was psychologically. Now, that's a very lucky escape. Most men are not encouraged to think psychologically. They're taught to block it. They're taught to be manly.
So those men that killed those girls, Sarah Everard and Sabina Nessa, did they get off on it? Was it a buzz? Was there sexuality involved? What kind of people do things like that other than misogynists? I mean, as well as misogynists.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? That misogyny is a mental disorder. And if you classified it as that, you could easily say, well, clearly men who circulate pictures of stabbed sisters are mentally ill. And if you were able to say that, you might get closer to trying to solve the problem, which would then be what? Because there is no drug, is there? So what would the solution be? And the answer is that you would have to engage them with their own brains, psychologically. And that's back to therapy. And that's what we're trying to say here, is that mental health has to expand into social issues. It can't just be therapy for people in a room. These issues, such as misogyny, are going on all the time because there's mental illness at large, and men have been allowed to get away with it. And at some point, men have got to confront themselves as men and ask ourselves collectively as men, what the hell do we think we're doing?
Well, I speak as a mother, and I think we do have a responsibility in this. We must have, since all the famous psychologists reckon things start in the first 6 years of life. I mean, how do you bring a boy up to respect women or even like women?
Yes, and there you start to get to the foundations, Chrissy, and get to the heart of the question. So there is a way, and the standard response from a psychotherapist would be that the way a boy and a young infant learns to love women will be twofold. First of all, and the primary one, will be the relationship of the father or other men towards his mother. And if a boy grows up seeing men respect the mother, treating her with civility, not putting her down, with verbal or physical abuse and mentally humiliating her, then a boy will model himself on that.
Chris Brown grew up in an abusive household. Chris Brown grew up in a household where he was seeing his mother get physically abused by, I think it was his stepfather, I want to say. And Chris Brown has a long rap sheet of allegations and accusations. And obviously we have proof of what happened between him and Rihanna, but he's 100% correct. The reason why Chris Brown and other men, they do this to women is because they seen it modeled. They seen it happening. Whatever your environment is when you are a child, that is what you're going to model, because there is no one telling you what is normal and what is not normal. And so if you do not address those things, it is going to repeat. And this is the reason why when men are trying to say, well, we need to bring back the nuclear family, we need to bring back the two-parent household. No, the fuck we don't. Because in those two-parent households and those nuclear families that were built in like the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s, a lot of those women were harmed by their husbands. And little boys and little girls are viewing that. So you have a little boy watching that who's going to grow up to be an abuser of women. And then you're going to have a little girl viewing that who is going to be the victim of abuse from a man, because that was what they were exposed to. That was their environment. So it does no good to have a two-parent household if that is what is being modeled to you.
But then where are the fathers who do that? Okay, so most of the time the fathers can contain their behavior. Okay, we can all do it. I can do that. I can act like a civilized adult male, but that doesn't really deal with the deeper, darker instincts that I could have if I'm not watchful of it.
So Praveen, let's look at children who have access to social media and can watch porn and porn violence anytime they like. That must have an effect.
There is a problem with social media in that sense, that there is a dark side and a light side to social media. In a positive sense, you can have a lot of group formation, particularly with young people who are massively neglected by society, who really could not care less about their mental health. So they are left to fend for themselves psychologically. They're psychological orphans trying to find each other and make friends. Now, if those groups have civility and values which aren't violently driven, then you're okay. But if, for example, children do get involved in groups with sexual violence online, I'm afraid, Chrissy, there is no simple answer to that. You can legislate against it. You can try and use internet security measures. But this is something that is out in society happening to young people. So we need to understand the problem in society. And the problem in society is the inferiority, psychological inferiority of the human male brain.
So it normalizes forced sex with women and violence if you feel like it.
Sadly so. There is rape.
So someone in the chat, I can't remember who it is, but someone in the chat had mentioned that there was a man that her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, I don't remember if it's her ex or her current boyfriend. I think she said it was an ex-boyfriend, but he would choke her. He would choke her in the bedroom. And the thing about it is that, listen, if you consent to that, yes, but you when it comes to things like that, I've never had a man not ask me for things like that. And the reason why men in that situation feel comfortable doing things like that is because of what they're watching, with them watching porn. Because they're modeling whatever it is that they are watching when they are watching porn. And usually a lot of the things that usually all the people that watch porn, the men that watch porn, they are simply modeling what it is that they are watching those men do to women. And typically it's always going to be women being in a submissive in a submissive situation. There's a lot of people with kinks and stuff like that. I don't kink shame. I don't kink shame at all. Do whatever it is that you want to do. But regardless of what it is that you want to do or have something be done to you, no matter what it is, it always should be something that should be consented to. And I'm talking about to the point where if a man wants to use a condom or not, you know what I mean? That is something that you should be able to be consented to, because men do things like stealthing and they take them off and things like that. There are a lot of things that men will try to do in a manner where it will be sneaky and you actually don't get consent from them, and they will just end up taking their own vices and just doing it anyway. And that is a problem. That is a huge problem. BDSM, Zaddy did a background check on that man who was choking her. Exactly. And she said that he was a felon. He was a felon. He had a felony for actually choking people. So really what they were doing in the bedroom was kind of just pretty much a foresight into what he would have done to her outside of a bedroom setting, or maybe he could have taken it too far in the bedroom setting. Exactly. The BDSM community at least uses safe words. They respect boundaries. Exactly. Would y'all say that men's emotional suppression is causing their aggression towards women? Would y'all say that a man that's emotional is healthy? What's the balance? Men need to be emotional. Men need to be emotional. I'm reading this book called When the Body Says No by Gabor Mate. And pretty much all throughout the book, he's pretty much talking about how women get autoimmune illnesses when they suppress their emotions, when they are suppressing their feelings, when they are suppressing their happiness, when they are suppressing all of these emotions, and they are just dutiful people, and that manifests as autoimmune diseases. I believe that when they have a high amount of emotional suppression and they're repressing memories and things like that, instead of it showing up in men as autoimmune diseases, men have a higher tolerance for cortisol because they make more testosterone than women. So men having high levels of cortisol will not affect them to the point where it can manifest as in autoimmune disease. How it does manifest, and this is just my theory, it manifests as violence. It manifests as violence. So when a man is emotionally repressing everything, he will be violent. This is why they say that most men who are very abusive to women, they're usually gay. They're usually down low. When men are saying, I'm fighting demons, usually the demon is bisexuality. Usually the demon is him being gay. That's usually the demon that he is fighting. Had an ex with a corn addiction. I had to break down to him reasons why it was wrong, very draining. And the thing about it is that you should never have to do that. You should never have to do that. No text, no contact, no looking back, run to the hills. I hope there are no kids involved. It gets tricky if you have kids already, so please use a police escort. Queen should do a video on religious cults and why our target women, because all those religions are just brainwashing tools. Okay, I will. Also, if you all have any pieces of content that you want me to review and do like this, Melissa, thank you so much for sending this video. Please email me at queensovereignbeing@gmail.com. I also have the email in like my regular bio description. You can also email me there. But please feel free to send me pieces of content that you all would like me to review. Like I said, once again, Melissa, thank you for sending this to me. This is actually a really, really good interview that we are watching. All right, let's get back into it.
Culture and rape porn. And it's also present in a lot of music, notoriously and famously with hip hop and rap, apparently trying to keep it real. Now, you can imagine that women are not going to respond very positively to this kind of feeling that is generated in men. And so what happens is these men become more and more sexually alienated, emotionally alienated, and then they start to complain about it. But it doesn't occur to them, and of course it wouldn't, that their hatred of women, because they're actually sexually inferior, because they're emotionally bankrupt and haven't got a clue about relationships, is what's driving women away. And so men don't get to that point. Instead, you do get all kinds of coaching. Years ago, I heard about somebody called D'Angelo, who was encouraging young men and young boys to be confident in their sexuality and go up to women and demand the relationship and look strong, because women want strong men. No, they don't. They want emotionally intelligent men who have the capacity to relate. Now, this is part of the problem, because also a lot of women do accept humiliation. They think it's the norm. They think it's okay to be put down, shouted at, abused, made to give birth to children and work while, you know, the father or the other male partner does nothing. In some cases, the male partner leaves them as single parents. And that's all supposed to be okay, and you just get on with it as a woman. Why should it be? When are men going to look at their psychology?
It always blows my mind when men will, like, it'll be a woman and the woman says that she's a single mother, and then the man will try to be like, he'll ask the woman, well, why did he leave? Why the fuck would you ask a woman why her ex-boyfriend or ex-husband or whoever left her with the child? Like, why would you need to ask the woman that? No person can make a person stay. You can do everything perfect. If a person wants to leave, they want to leave. Just because someone decided to leave, what doesn't mean that it's always a reflection of the other person. Isn't she the one taking care of the child? She's the one taking care of the child. So she can't be that bad. She can't be that bad of a person, because she's really sitting here taking care of both of their children. The onus is always going to be on the woman, no matter what. It's always going to be the onus on the woman, because men don't take any accountability. Whenever they tell women, oh, you don't take accountability, it's just a projection. They're the ones not taking accountability. It's not up to the woman to dictate if the man is going to stay for his own child or not. Like, why would you even fix your lips to ask a woman that question? It's his fucking child too. Like, what is wrong with these men?
Well, when women make enough fuss about it. But if we could come to a group called the Incel Movement, they hit the headlines recently because a man in Plymouth went balmy with a gun, went dangerously violent with a gun, and killed his mother and others. Now, they said he was a member of the Incel group who complained that they can't get sex with a woman.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? So you actually have a situation where men are saying that they are involuntary celibates. They aren't choosing to be celibate. They are forced into this position. Basically, what they're trying to say is because of those horrible feminists have helped women to ask the question, why are you putting up with this abuse? And saying no to it. And it doesn't occur to these people that men are the problem. They are emotionally unintelligent. In fact, worse, they're emotionally sadistic towards women. And that is a psychological problem. Now, until psychotherapists engage with society and start pushing these issues out there as psychological mental illnesses, nobody is going to change. I'm really sorry to say, you can put all the laws in the world, you will not stop groups like the incel movement, and it was a movement for a while, that generates what? It generates hatred, it generates aggression, it generates violence. Now, you talked about him killing his mother. There's another horrible example in the US of somebody called Adam Lanza, who shot up children in a primary school, but prior to that, he shot his mother in bed, and then went to the school that she taught at and shot loads of primary school children, okay? Not even a flicker of change in the gun laws. Now, gun laws aside, you think about what occurs in the brain of a young boy that he thinks he has the right to shoot his mother in the head. That's the male brain, okay, right there. And we have to kind of work out as men. It really isn't going to help if women do make a fuss. Men have got to wake up with some kind of moral conscience almost and say, what on earth are we doing? What is psychologically wrong with us? And what do we need to change in our brain wiring so that we stop all this war, hate, aggression? Oh, I'm such a tough man. Because you know what? You're not. You don't have any relationship with life. And that is a profound male problem.
If you're dealing with a man and you're like new to dating, you should be running a background check on every single man that you deal with. You should be running a background check on every single man that you deal with before you even meet them face to face. You should be asking for their name, and you should be running a background check on them, because it gets to the point where the thing about it is that the reason why women are typically put in these positions where it's like men can be violent and things like that is because we live in a world where men commit so much violence that we're just used to it. We are just used to men being violent. And so because we're used to men being violent, we never think that men will ever be violent against us as women. When all they are is violent against women, children, their own children, their own mothers, their own wives, their own girlfriends. You should be running a criminal background check on every man, because guess what? A man wants to know your body count. A man wants to know how many children you have. That's his background check. Because in most cases, as a woman, you're not a criminal. In most cases, you are not a criminal. Most crimes are committed like 97% by men. So men, of course, they're not thinking about you committing any crimes. Their background check is asking you how many baby daddies you got. What's your body count? All these dumb questions. You out here, you literally have to make sure that you are with someone that hasn't taken the life of another person. You literally have to make sure that you are dealing with someone who has not abused another person. Like, the risk for a woman is inherently larger dealing in a heterosexual relationship. Your risk as a woman is astronomically greater than a man's. Astronomically greater than a man's. You even sleeping with a man, your risk is astronomically greater. He can't get pregnant. You can. You have a higher chance of getting a sexually transmitted disease more than a man. Through penetrative action, it's easier for a woman to be able to contract something as opposed to a man. In a heterosexual relationship, in most cases, I already told you guys the statistics earlier, but in most cases, when it comes to who's going to unalive you, in most cases, the man it's going to be a higher chance of him unaliving you versus the other way around. Like, it's not, we're in a world, especially now, where you just can't be willy-nilly with this stuff anymore. You really cannot. You cannot play games when it comes to these things that men are capable of doing.
Well, feminism didn't do it. And I wonder who actually would make a difference. Who would these people? I mean, you're talking about millions of men across the world who think like this. What is going to make the difference? Who is going to?
Yeah, and this is where I have to default back to Freud and his late works, where he did get very disillusioned with the social potentials of psychoanalysis. And the very, very famous works, for those who read Freud famously, The Future of an Illusion and Civilization and Its Discontents, where Freud comes to this very sad conclusion that society is not going to change. Sorry, our brains have not evolved. We are incapable of being civilized. We can put a paper cracker, we can plaster the cracks, we can cover it all up with thin paper. And Freud was saying, sorry, the way society organizes itself is so psychologically ignorant. It is so naive. And he was trying to say, look, there's no excuse anymore to pretend we don't understand that aggression is a psychological problem. And he was saying, but I don't think we can get past it. And there's a very moving historical moment, Chrissy, when Albert Einstein wrote a letter to Freud and asked him, would he be a signatory to the United Nations, or the League of Nations as it was called back then? And there's an agonizing letter reply from Freud, and it's called Why War? Warum Krieg? And it was written in 1932. And Freud is saying to Einstein, I get your aspiration. Do you honestly think a League of Nations is going to stop war, the menace of war? Do you honestly think that passing laws and having an institution will stop violent aggression? And then he goes on to say, we have not evolved. We are, and he's talking about men, we are an unevolved, damaged, brain-damaged species. Freud had tried psychoanalysis, and all he got was backlash during his lifetime, discrediting, of course, they had to, and huge amounts of attack. And even today, psychoanalysis is rejected by society. And Freud was saying to Einstein, what chance do you honestly think we have? Now, I don't know, because who controls the force of history? You know, none of us. We can't control our destinies, and we don't have the power to change histories across the world. But we have to, at some point, men have to, face our own shadows. We have to face our own dark instincts. I have to face my violence as a male. And I have to ask myself, what on earth do I do with it? And why is it there? Because I can't keep living like that. I can't keep living from there. Now, I may be able to paper it over with this very clever psychoanalytic persona, and I can look at all my toolkit and say, oh, yes, well, I understand I'm a horrible man. I am a horrible man, like every other man. I'm not pleasant inside. And we as men need that psychological moment, which absolutely has not happened, as feminism did, not to go on because women are telling us how awful we are, okay, but some kind of evolutionary moment where men think to themselves, we are sick. We are sick. And we need to face this sickness. It's a mental disorder.
Previn, it sounds like very important stuff, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Chrissy.
In these times.
Oops. Nice. We actually got through that a lot quicker than I thought we were going to. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I felt like that was great. I do. I feel like that was great. I feel like he really, really held men accountable. And I also like the woman. She asked very, very good questions, very thought-provoking questions. Let's see what they're saying in the chat. This is why being a gold digger is the safest way to date, because how many men are willing to give you $10K a month just to abuse you? Not foolproof, but better than dating for love. That's always been how I dated, because obviously, like, if you're new here, so the reason why I know so much about men is because I was a stripper. I stripped for 4 years, 10 years ago. Okay. So it was quite a long time ago that I had danced. However, yeah, that's the reason why I know so much about men, was through pretty much through my line of work. And the thing about it is that I never put myself in a predicament where me dealing with a man was just ever going to be for love, because I never viewed men in that way. Like, I remember being in high school and girls would be so boy crazy, and girls would like run to have a boyfriend. And like, I didn't care about having a boyfriend. I didn't care about having boys in my life. All I cared about was doing well in school and then just excelling in sports. That's all I freaking cared about. And then I remember, like, even in college, I didn't have a boyfriend in college. Like, I didn't care about any of that stuff, because I just always had known, and I was always taught about the true nature of men and how they really could be, and that there really is no use for them. There really is no use for them, except it's on a tangible level. And so I did see the women in the chat that were saying that there really is no vetting process. And I agree. There really is no vetting process, because yes, men will easily lie. There are men out there, they got a fake name on deck. Hell, like my ex-boyfriend, he actually made up his STD panel. He faked his own STD panel. Yeah, he faked it. He literally got online and found like a STD panel, and like went on a Photoshop and like fucking cropped it out, and then like just put his name. You can't trust these men to provide you any type of truth. The onus, unfortunately, will be 100% on you. It will always be 100% on you to outsmart these men, or better yet, just to put yourself in a predicament where you don't even have to deal with men, because no matter what, they're going to go. They don't care how far they have to go to hide the truth from you. That's how desperate they are. Like, do you know how desperate you have to be to have a fake name, have a fake address, have a fake number, doctor up STD results? Do you know how crazy you have to be to do shit like that? Oh yeah, and so that was the last straw for me. That was the last straw for me. I was like, what? Because I literally said, if something happens crazy in this relationship, if something happens crazy, I'm done with men. Like, that is it. I said, universe, just tell me, just show me this is it. And as soon as that shit happened, and I saw that he had faked his STD panel, nope, 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 nope. My cheating ex had multiple residences. Yep. What? An STD panel is crazy. Yep. Males have learned how to lie since they hit puberty. Yep. Exactly. I was living my best life as a young girl. I never cared for men. Yep. So eye opening for the dancing, stripping days at a very young age. You see it all. Yep. I feel bad saying that because women will think I'm victim blaming, but it's just I feel I could never relate because since I was a child, I always saw how men acted towards women in every way. I like literally my life. Men, this is the thing about it. At a very, very young age, men did everything to make me not fucking like them. Little boys did everything for me to not fucking like them. I remember in second grade, they would like grab our asses and shit. And this happened in the second grade. Like, this happened when we were young as hell, like literally grabbing our asses. And then I remember one kid, oh my God, it was terrible. This happened in like first or second grade. And I'll never forget. I got a lens at a very, very young age at how little boys it is something in them where they cannot handle rejection because their mothers coddle them so much. On top of the mental illness that they have. There was this boy that liked me. And when I say liked me, he was obsessed with me. And I rejected him over and over and over. And so I'll never forget. I've always been like a very, very good student. And so I remember it was a social studies class. And I remember the teacher. It was Miss Mead. I will never forget this. I will never fucking forget this. This was my first insight for me to know how terrible men were, how terrible boys were. We had an in-class assignment to do. And you know, like when you read like a chapter or whatever, and like the chapter, they have many chapters that like creates one big chapter. And so you have to do like all the questions for like the whole entire like index of multiple chapters. So it was this long ass assignment of like all these different questions. So I'm over here like flipping pages, like looking, writing the answers, making sure that everything is right. I put so much time into that fucking assignment. It's like almost the end of the class, and the teacher is like looking through the papers to make sure that everyone has submitted their paper. And so the teacher was like, I don't see your paper, queen. Like, where's your paper? And I was like, what do you mean, where's my paper? Like, I fucking turned in my paper. Like, what are you talking about? So she like hands me the back basket of papers, and I go on ahead and look through the papers, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't see my papers anymore. This young boy got so pissed off that I rejected him. He erased my name on my assignment and fucking wrote his name. And from that moment on, I hated boys forever. I hated boys forever. Then to make matters worse, like, you're never going to believe this shit. You're never going to believe this shit. That was in like the first grade or the second grade. I didn't have to worry about seeing that boy anymore because I moved. I go to middle school and I'm in 7th grade. Why does the same fucking kid from first grade transfer to my middle school? Transfer to my fucking middle school. The same kid from first grade. I remember I was in my math class. I can't remember the name of the teacher, but I was in my math class. The math class ended and they were like, Queen, you have to wait. We're going to have like a meeting with all of like the teachers or whatever. Yeah. Queen said, don't F with my schoolwork, bro. I was pissed. I was so pissed. So same kid revisits me and transferred to the middle school that I was going to. All of my teachers that I have, they tell me, oh yeah, so so-and-so, this boy is saying that you are bullying him, that you're harassing him, that you're bothering him. When in reality, he was the fucking one harassing me, bothering me, upset because I was rejecting him. And he literally ran like a little bitch and told the teachers that I was bullying him and that I was harassing him. Like, then he went with us to he went to school with us in middle school, then went to high school, and then like met like more girls or whatever. And like he was a straight incel. Like he literally wrote like a manifesto, and he literally wrote a hit list of like the people that he wanted to like unalive. I don't think I was like on the list or anything, but he was an incel from like fucking birth. He was an incel from fucking birth. Like something legit wrong with him. It's like humping a gummy worm. Guys like to be in competition with women and they think they are entitled to women's bodies and creativity. Exactly. And this is why I don't deal with him. Like, this is why I don't deal with him on any deep level at all. And the ones that I choose, there's only one man that I sleep with. And as soon as he fucks up and as soon as he does something that I don't like, I'll never sleep with him again. I'm telling you, you have to run a tight ship with these men. You really have to, because you give them an inch and they're going to take a fucking mile. I was never stricken having a boyfriend when I was younger either. It's 3 times as much now. Yes, like, I'm sorry, but like, there's nothing interesting about men. Like, there's nothing interesting about them. Oh, you're lucky, Jessica. You were in an all-girls school. I'm just over dating, period. It's too draining. Dating is too fucking draining. I have no interest to be dating anyone at all. Like, no interest. It's too draining. I'm bisexual too, and my last relationship with a woman didn't end well either. Oh, I got my experiences with women too. If you want to know the tea on my horrible experience with a woman, definitely subscribe to my Patreon, because I talk about that on my Patreon. That woman literally came this close to almost ruining my life and like fucking up everything that I worked very, very hard for. So yeah, that didn't work out either, and it wasn't even supposed to be that or intend to be that. However, in my birth chart, it is in my birth chart where the way that my birth chart is, there are aspects within my birth chart where there is like a lot of like obsession when it comes to like people liking me and crushes and things like that. So I have to stay far away from men anyway, and stay far away from like harvesting like very deep emotional connections, because I've had stalkers, I have people harass me, I've had people threaten to blackmail me, they have blackmailed me. I've had to deal with all of that stuff. Stop going for looks, passing up red flags, ask strategic questions, use those answers to leverage yourself, and make sure the man is generous. Use their mistakes to get paid. Yes. I'm so thankful to be bisexual. I wish social media was around in my 20s. Everything that happened to me all makes sense now. Yeah, I'm hearing this a lot from women who are maybe like a little bit older, saying that they wish that social media was around. How did you find out he faked it? Because so I work in healthcare. I work in the medical field, and I know exactly how like the panel is supposed to look, and like what I guess you could say, like, oh, well, first off, let's fast forward. So the number one reason why I knew that he faked it was because he lied and said that he could not get electronic access. It is a federal law. It is a federal law that you have electronic access to all of your medical records. It's the federal law. So if a man ever tells you, I have to go to the doctor to get it printed out, there's no way for me to get into the account, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. It is federal law for you to have electronic access to all of your medical information. So your reports from like radiology, imaging, any lab work that you've gotten, it's federal law for you to have access to those. So as soon as he started like saying like, I don't have access, and I don't know. And I'm like, okay, well, something is up then. Something is fucking up then. So then he was like trying to waste time, and then we end up hanging out, and then he like gives me the paper or whatever, and I'm like, this is not, no. This is not, because I always make sure. So me personally, before I'm like ever with someone, I always make sure that like I get a panel like after I'm done dealing with someone, and then I don't deal with anyone. I don't deal with anyone again or like sleep with anyone again until it's like okay, I'm actually like with a person, I'm actually in a committed relationship. So that way I know going into a relationship that I was already clean going into the relationship. So this is why doing things like, oh, going together. I mean, okay, like, yeah, we can go together, but like, I already know that I got tested and like, I already have my results. Like, here you go. These are my results. Oh, wow. I didn't know you could find those things in your birth chart. Yeah, you could find it in your birth chart. You have Pluto opposite your Venus by chance. What's your rising sign? Just general. Okay, so this is all in Vedic astrology. So it's where my Rahu and Ketu are. It's where my Rahu and Ketu are within my birth chart in Vedic astrology, not Western. The more you date men, you realize how they all are boring. Their personality is fake and manufactured. Their interests are things their ex introduced them to. They're all one trick ponies. I say that all the time. Men are one trick ponies. They're not unique. They're not creative. They're not original thinkers. They are just very redundant. They all repeat the same thing. I am always having to tolerate dealing with a man. Always. It's just tolerance. It is not an enjoyable thing. It is not something that I look forward to. All I look forward to from men is when they give me money and when they're good in bed. That's it. Those are the only two things I care about. When they give me money and when they're good in bed. And it's great when they give me both. That's all I want is just one guy to hook up with. It's so annoying. They always talk about wanting a relationship. Like, man, shut up. I don't want to hear that crap. Yeah, I actually got really lucky. So, actually the guy that I hook up with, so he had gotten out of a relationship months before I had gotten out of my relationship, and like I really only wanted something casual and he only wanted something casual, and I'm not home very often, and so whenever I'm back home, I just go ahead and just meet up with him. So it isn't like I'm like regularly like banging the guy or whatever. And he's the only person that I'm banging because when I'm traveling for work, I don't deal with men at all. And like I've been celibate before too. Like I've been celibate for 15 months before. But that's why I have toys. That's why I have toys, and I just put a heated blanket over me to make it feel like make it feel like I got a warm body. I have multiple men stalk me online. HR at my job. HR is useless. Whenever people say go to HR, human resources is there to protect the company. Human resources is not there to protect the employee. They are there to protect the fucking place. They're there to protect the corporation. What you need to do is document everything and make sure that you have enough money saved away, stashed away in case you ever need a lawyer, especially if you are a woman that is working in a male dominated field. If you are a woman who is very, very attractive, you're one of the more attractive women. So whether you're facially attractive, whether you're physically attractive, whether you're the most intelligent, maybe you are a woman that you are a boss over a lot of men. If you are in any of those predicaments, any of those positions in like corporate America, when you're working a 9 to 5, you need to have money stowed away for a lawsuit, and you should not be afraid to sue people because HR is never going to protect you. They're never going to protect you. They're there solely to protect the company. Mine is in Scorpio, and all those crazy people come flocking to me. Yes, exactly. Yep. My Rahu is I think my Rahu is in Scorpio, so that's the reason why. Last guy I slept with turned me off from dealing with guys altogether. Completely done. Well, there you go. There you go. I homeschool my daughter, but I wish there was an all-girls school that wasn't religious in my area. Just put her in a sport. Put her in a sport like gymnastics. I understand that gymnastics is expensive, so this is obviously like affordability, if you can do it, but put her in a sport, put her in a girly sport if she likes it, cheerleading, gymnastics. That's what my mom did. Jesus Christ, men's jealousy is dangerous. Yep. Yes, I'm going through this now. I'm using up all my sick time until I find something else. Yeah. Listen, I got drama that just happened to me, and it's on my Patreon. Once again, if you want the details on my life, if you want the tea on my life and what I'm doing and what I do to like navigate through this type of stuff, yeah, go on ahead and click the link in the description and follow your girl on Patreon because, yep. They will pretend that you come to them with unnecessary concerns. Exactly. They're so dismissive. HR is so dismissive. They're incredibly dismissive. They will try to make it seem as if like you're blowing things out of proportion, or that there's nothing that they could do. It's a waste. I quit going to HR a long time ago. And yes, please hit the like button. Thank you. Okay, so I'm trying to add you as a moderator, Corral. I am. My next live stream, I'm going to have to. I think I'm just gonna have to do it on. I think I'm just gonna have to do it on YouTube next, because even when I type in your @ it's not letting me do it. Maybe I have to actually like be subscribed. Maybe I actually have to be subscribed, because like, okay, so I starred you, then what can I do? Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. Because when I go to YouTube Studio and I go to the add moderators, when I try to type people in, they won't come up. And like I tried like that your like name, like your username, your @ name, and then I also like put your name that's like in. So I don't know. Maybe I have to subscribe to you. Maybe that's also why. I might have to subscribe to you. I thought union helped. God no. God no. The union doesn't help. I agree about HR. I got stories for days, complete frauds. Exactly. Is their page private or public? I'm not too sure. I might have to try to subscribe to her and see if it will work then. But whenever I try to type in either or, like the name that's viewable or the @ name that you gave me, it won't pop up for me to add you as a moderator. Because I know Jessica wanted to be one too, and when I try to do it for Jessica, it won't work either. Because I know on TikTok, I actually have to follow the people that are moderators. But when I actually go on YouTube and I do it, and I do it from YouTube and not through StreamYard, like how this is, when I do it just straight through YouTube, it will allow me in the live stream to like add you as a moderator. So I don't know. I'll have to just do it the way that I know that works. Queen, when you sleep with one guy, does he know that you only want that, or are you going out with him on dates, etc.? Because for most men, they can get very angry. No, I'm not dating him or anything, because like I said before, I live far away because I travel for work. So like he jokes about it, but he's like, you just fly in on your magic carpet and you just come. Like I kind of just come as I please. I just say, hey, I'm in town. He will carve out time for us to do the deed, and then we do the deed, and then I go on about my merry way. Yeah, like I mean, yeah. That's it, that's all. Because I'm not there to go out on a date, nor do I want to go out on a date or anything like that. I know birth control scares the shit out of me. Don't trust anything messing with my hormones. Yeah, I don't take birth control. I don't have any form of conception. I just use, or contraception. I just use condoms. I just use, because I don't have any issues. There's no reason for me to be on birth control. Like my period is only 3 days. I have a regular flow. I have a regular period. I don't have any medical need for me to need to be on birth control. My endocrine system, my hormones, everything is in balance. So I'm not going to put that poison in my body just to prevent me from getting pregnant. Like it just kind of is what it is. I just take the precautions that I need to make sure that I stay on top of my ovulation period, to make sure that, nothing happens then, and make sure that like I'm mindful and things like that. Some of them work out excessively to make their body look good. They don't want to work on the inside. They equate muscle with money. I feel sorry for women that go for looks. This is what I think. Even when men don't care about their physical, that doesn't mean that most men are not doing the work anyway. Like this is the thing. This is why I tell women, you cannot deal with men on a deep level. You will have to deal with them on a superficial transactional level, because like the guy said on the video that we just watched, they're not doing any psychoanalysis. Men are not doing any psychoanalysis. Men are not trying to get therapy. Men are not trying to do the inner work that is required. So my point of view is this. If you're going to be dealing with a species of a group of people who don't care about who they are on an internal level, you might as well deal with the hottest guy and the guy that has the most money, because it don't matter whether he ugly, his internal is still going to be fucked up. And all you did was just give an ugly man an ego boost because he got to be next to you, who is a beautiful woman. Now, if he has money and he's ugly, great. You know what I mean? Great. But I'm sorry, I'm not pumping up an ugly guy's ego. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. You don't get, I'm sorry, like, I don't get it. He's the one that's winning at the end of the day. He's the one that's winning at the end of the day. I'm not doing that. He has to give me money if he's ugly. I don't have a cyst. I scam myself all the time. But torsion is really rare. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about ovarian torsion. Birth control can cause fertility issues. You can get a cyst on your ovaries. Everyone has a cyst on their ovaries pretty much. It's just as long as the cyst doesn't get too large. So like even when you're pregnant, you get a cyst on your ovaries. It's called a corpus luteum cyst. It's kind of like the cyst that is indicative of you like having an intrauterine pregnancy. Cysts are pretty common, and normally most places don't even consider for you to have an ovarian cyst unless it's larger than unless it's like 20 millimeters or greater. I work in the field, so I know all about this stuff. Jesus, only 3 days. Lucky you. Yes. Queen, you Zafami. What's Zafami? I think my boyfriend is anxiously attached to me. He is the sweetest when we're together, and when we're apart, he gets sad and starts projecting. I seem to get more and better treatment keeping my legs on lock. Yep. They're not even good in bed. I don't trust them enough. That's why when I find someone that is good in bed, I just hold on to them. I just hold on to them because I don't got time to be being disappointed back to back to back, adding bodies for no reason. Have y'all ever dealt with your own kind at a workplace and they were no better with help? Hell yeah. That literally just happened to me. I was thinking their page is private. It won't work. Oh, that could be. They literally know how bad you're being treated, but they just brush it off because they genuinely don't care. And if you're beautiful, they feel as though you deserve to be mistreated. I'm telling you, y'all got to follow me on Patreon because that shit literally just happened to me at the workplace. It just happened to me at the workplace. Like when I look around and like it's my first day at a workplace and I see the women there and they're plain, they're ugly, they're boring, I already know it's going to be an issue. I already know it's going to be an issue because I come to work looking like a stylist just did my hair and my makeup. Like, I be coming to work I come to work look just like this. Like I literally come to work look just like this because I care about my appearance and it makes me feel good. And I love like expressing myself through like my makeup and my hair and my nails and things like that. So as soon as I walked into that goddamn place and I saw that I'm gonna just call them bitches because they are bitches. When I saw them bitches and they was looking plain drained, they was looking like saltine crackers, boring as hell, bland as hell, I was like, okay, they're gonna hate me. And they sure did. He's really good in bed and he's well endowed. He's not going anywhere, but he's very anxiously attached. I don't know what to do. I feel like there is a way that you can leverage his anxious attachment. Like be like, okay, well, if you want to see me, take me out to a place or let's go out shopping. Like if he wants to see you, make it so that you can leverage it so that way he can give you something while he's able to see you. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that works to your benefit. You know what I mean? If you want to see me so bad, well, take me out someplace. Like, let's plan a date. Have you seen that old article of the list of reasons why men abuse their partners? No, but you could send it to me. Oh, I got a super chat. At Queen Sovereign, watch review the interview he did with Princella. Greed, deep dive into male nature. Search what is the true problem with men. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Miss Winnie. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. Thank you. I was literally being watched by everyone at work. They knew what I was doing at all times. Everyone knew who I was without me ever interacting with them. It was so weird. Yep, I feel like that shit just happened to me. They Oh my God, they wouldn't let me breathe in that bitch. They wouldn't let me breathe in in that bitch. Like when they're intimidated by you, when you're in a workplace and they're intimidated by you, they're intimidated by your beauty, they're intimidated by your intellect, they're intimidated by how like everything about you. They're gonna do everything possible and everything that they possibly can in order to like make you look bad or make you you know what I mean? Like make you look bad and to try to sabotage you because then none of those bitches wanted to help me. None of those bitches wanted to help me. I had 2 weeks of training time that was supposed to be allocated to these people training me, and they didn't give a fuck because they wanted to sabotage me. He didn't live in my state. He lives in Utah and I'm in Texas. Oh, well, that's a little different because y'all are long distance. Well, my thing is this, why would you want to be not you, but if you know that you're long distance and you know that you're kind of clingy like that, why would you even like agree to that? I'm talking about him, not you. Why would you agree to a long distance relationship when you know that you're already kind of clingy? Like, okay, then tell him fly to come see you. Like, that's the thing. Okay, you want to see me so bad, then fly to come see me. Like, it's still no excuse. But there is a book, Why Does He Do That by Lundy Bancroft that talks about that. Why do docs just cut the thing out? Wait, I don't know what you're talking about. Have you seen? Oh no, I already read that. That's all I need. One good one to practice on, but I can't get to that point because the red flags are waving. So the way I vet men is through my terror, my gifts, not trying to promote, but it saved me a few times. I believe it. I use tarot cards too. I've always been the youngest at every job I worked at and got hated on by older women or unattractive women. All of those bitches were old. Old. Women care more about how a man feels more than how they feel. We care too much, give too much, and need to stop. I agree. Care way too much. Going to take myself out on a date after my boyfriend called me a dumbass and claimed it wasn't a degrading context. I would have been broken up with him because they love to do that. Like one of my exes before called me a bitch and I called him out on it. He was like, I didn't call you a bitch. I said you were acting bitchy. No, you called me a bitch. Like quit being a coward. Don't take it back now. Stand tall on what you said. Say it with your chest, bitch. Have you seen that one old article of men listing the benefits of abusing their pride? You know what? Princella the Queenmaker. Princella the Queenmaker made a video about that. Yes, I have. She made a video about that. And she did. She listed them all. She did. She listed them all. I know what you're talking about. Now I think of it, I know what you're talking about. The cards never lie. I agree. They're playing. They're ugly. They're boring. You know it's going to be a problem. So glad I work from home. I work naked. Oh, I love that for you. They be popped, a mess. This has always been my experience as well. Yes, the hate is so real when you're the pretty girl at work, the educated girl at work, the well-dressed girl, the nice body girl at work. Ugh. They go insane at work when you're competitive. It's disturbing. And the thing about it is that you won't even be competitive. You're just there to do your job. But because they are insecure, they see you as competition. So what they do is they try to project it onto you as if you're competing with them. And it's like, bitch, no one is competing with you. No one is competing with you. I'm here to get my paycheck. I'm here to do my job and go the fuck home and get paid. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about how you look when you come to work. All I care about is how I look when I come to work. I don't care about what anybody else is doing. It could be a woman at work who comes to work just as glamorous as I do. And I'm still not going to give a fuck. I'm going to be like, yes, girl. Yes, boo. You're pretty. Like, you look good. Bet they use it as an excuse anytime you take long time doing something. They won't give grace. They just call you out to management like, oh my God, that girl trained up. What's the problem? Exactly. I love pretty girls at work, especially if they are nice. And if she's black, I'm extra nice because I already know she's going through it. Exactly. And there was another black woman there. She was the only other black woman there. She was not nice. She didn't like my ass either. I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh, I'm still disgusted. I go more in detail on the Patreon, but I was disgusted. A man that finds joy in providing and think about your needs as well as his own is the type of man every woman who wants one should strive for. A man that makes his woman feel safe and loved is blessed. Yes. If the man is not obsessed with me and worshiping me, if a man is not obsessed with you and worshiping you, you might as well be single. It only is going to work if he is obsessed with you and if he is worshiping you. A man should get off on seeing you happy. Like a man should get off on seeing you happy. Like that's just the norm. That's just the natural order of things. A man who has no problem seeing you work while you're 7, 8, 9 months pregnant hates you. A man who is making you go to work, help him, and then take care of the children, and you still got to cook, clean, and give him schmecks, he hates you. Like any man that you're asking him to do something for you, you're asking him for a date, you're asking him for family time, and he won't do it, he hates you. He's not a good person. These are things you should never have to ask a man for these things. Never. Yes, YT women hate us, but they can't come out and say it, so they punish us through work and set up roadblocks. Yep, microaggressions. All microaggressions. I was dating online and he told me he was never married. I did a reading on him and found out he was married, best his wife, and was jealous of her money and recognition. But let you call them out on their BS. They ain't gonna like it. Management either will want to get rid of you or separate you from them. Coworkers isolate you. Yep, that's exactly what happened to me. That's exactly what happened to me. They isolated the fuck out of me. I remember that article. It was disturbing AF. Usually the best workers are quiet, but they make them the problem. Yep. Because I went to work and I minded my fucking business. And then they're like, oh, we'll help you. We'll help you. Whenever I asked them a question for help, I had one girl, she rolled her eyes at me. I had another girl was just straight rude to me. And then like one of them tried to call me out. I had just coughed and she announced out loud, oh, well, are you sick? I'm like, I want to backhand you so bad. I want to backhand you so bad. I've had men tell me they miss me or something along those lines, but then when you ask for a date, they go through real quick. It's like, yes, they think these men, when we said they were one trick ponies, they really are. Like words don't work anymore. Like men aren't picking up the strategy. Words don't work anymore. He texted you saying, I miss you, hoping that you would be like, oh, well, I miss you too. And he wanted I miss you to get translated for you to come over for Netflix and chill. That's what he wanted. It's always an old, angry, haggard woman tormenting women at work. Always. I never had a woman. I'm sorry, but I never had a bad bitch torment me at work. I'll just keep it real. I never had a bad bitch torment me ever. Never. Ooh, I use African Goddess Rising Oracle cards. Y'all finna make me break out my tarot cards tonight when I get off of here. Flight already booked for V-Day. Just going to use my rose in front of him. I love that for you. Low-level men always see when you do wrong as a woman, but never the majority of the time when the woman does right. Yep. And honestly, that's for anyone. Anyone who never acknowledges the good that you do, but all they do is highlight the negative. Nope. Justice says, way to go, beauty. Aw, thank you. The women that pick on pretty women are pick-me's because men put them again pretty women, and they take the bull. Because guess what? Guess who wasn't giving me a hard time at work? Like, let's just be honest. Guess who wasn't giving me a hard time at work? The men. The men were not giving me any hard time at work. As a matter of fact, right when I came into work the very first time, when I came in like the whole department, it was a male doctor, and the male doctor literally like was staring at me up and down. Like he was staring the fuck out of me. I had to sue a company for wrongful termination because they allowed a coworker to exhibit racist behavior towards me, turned a blind eye, and definitely stuck together. Insane. It's terrible. And it's only going to get worse at this point, I think. They'll say you don't follow directions. You don't know how to do your job. Exactly. I'm telling you, like I said on my Patreon, I go into detail. The shit was all blown out of proportion. All blown out of proportion. But then when I let them know, okay, well, you're criticizing me, then I'm going to criticize the fuck out of you too then. Like, I'm going to go tit for tat with you all because the criticism that you all are giving me When people give you criticism with no correction, that's how you know they're trying to sabotage you. Criticism without correction is a form of sabotage. Always remember that. Criticism without correction is a form of sabotage. If someone is giving you criticism and they are not giving you a solution on what you could do better, they're trying to sabotage you. Point blank, period. And you should be documenting it all. Sovereign Woman did a parody of a Red Pill Men with her and some other YouTubers dressed like men. It's funny. Oh yeah, you're talking about that Audacity podcast with like her, YV Edit, Bourbon Bougie. Yeah, I've seen it. You don't learn people's names until they keep putting you in the office. Exactly. Literally, I'm just trying to feed my kids like everyone else. Yes. I give pretty women their flowers. Thank you, girl, because that's how it should be, because that's how I am. That's how I am. You're pretty, you're popping, you're smart. I'm always going to compliment. Real recognizes real. Okay. Point blank, period. Real recognizes real. When I see a bad bitch, when I see a beautiful woman, when I see a woman doing everything that she needs to do, I'm going to always compliment her, lift her up. I'm always going, real recognizes real. I'm always going to match energy based off of people and women that are on the same frequency as me. Beautiful Black women have always been nice to be because I'm simply nice to them as well. People like empathy, shaking my head. Exactly. They so damn corny, like go away. Pretty girls are always so nice. It's the bad built ones that tend to be evil bullies. Exactly. What's up with Black women throwing each other under the bus? What, you unfriendly Black hotties? Yeah, I was like, what? Did you find a pro bono? Women are programmed to be each other's enemies. Yep. Pretty girls are not automatically nice. Beautiful Black women are so sweet to me too. Wish I had the discipline to be the stylish woman at work or just stylish in general. Complete adoration is a must. Yes. I compliment pretty thin Black women all the time. Who else is going to do it? Exactly. No one else is going to. And this is why I said before, I always acknowledge them when I see them, because I'm like, yes, like we should be lifting up one another. He have to be obsessed with me, generous and giving me whatever I want. Exactly. If he's not honoring me by doing anything I want him to do, I don't want him. You don't see other races of women throwing each other under the bus. Learn from them. That is a feminine energy you try to emulate anyway. Men are very jealous of women. That's why they are misogynist. Their root is jealousy. Men are jealous as hell of women. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't blame them. I mean, look at us. Look at us. We're beautiful. Our bodies are beautiful. Our skin is soft. We have the ability to create life. Like, we're smart. We're emotionally intelligent. We're well spoken. Like, I mean, men have every reason to be jealous of us. Look at us. We're fucking amazing. EEOC and lawyer to go into mediation with you. Even EEOC mediator was trying to be biased. Racist white tea women are worse than men and they stick together. Yep. What about the men that like making their mistress happy and not their wives? Okay, so pretty much how that works, that dynamic works when like there's a man that's married and like he's pulling out all the stops for his mistress and he's not trying to please the wife. Pretty much what he is doing is he is trying to lay out his game plan and lay out his foundation to exit the marriage and then have the next woman like ready. So what he's going to do is he is going to go above and beyond for the mistress. That way the mistress can be so in love with all the treatment that she's getting to further like push him and fuel him to divorce the wife. And so if he does eventually divorce the wife, he already has the mistress like trained to this treatment. And so that way he can go be with the mistress. But usually this backfires because, you know, the custody battle and, you know, all those things like that. It usually doesn't fare out very well when men do that. It is so sad for me to see Black women jealous and malicious about the success of other Black women instead of creating community among ourselves and helping each other to prosper. I agree. The lesser people, the better. Their survival staying at the company. I agree. We black pretty and nice in here. Agree. They also hate when pretty women talk proper. They say you're judging them or think you're better. Oh, I got that all my life growing up. You talk white. You talk white. You talk. God, heard that my whole life. Queen, are women's compliments genuine? Women always tell me I'm beautiful, but I can't see myself objectively. Yes, usually if you hear those compliments often, you're beautiful. Point blank, period. You're beautiful. So believe them. You're beautiful. I found that in general, men are nicer to me in the workplace. It's sad who two-faced and catty women they could be. Exactly. Usually, I haven't. Now that I think of it, I haven't had any issues. Well, okay, no, I lied. I did have one male boss who pretty much fired me because he was attracted to me and I wasn't reciprocating. However, and then when I worked at I was only female at an all male company, you could obviously guess how wonderful that went. Um, but when I've been in a group of women and there are men that I work with, the men definitely have not been as bad. I will say that they haven't been because the thing about women, they're very passive aggressive. Um, they're very catty and I haven't gotten tested or anything, but I'm pretty confident that I'm neurodivergent. And so what comes along with being neurodivergent is that you don't have a filter. So I'm one of those people where if I'm disrespected, I'm not going to run to the manager when I'm disrespected. I'm just going to tell the person straight up hey, I feel disrespected. You said XYZ and I didn't really like that. But that demographic that you're talking about of women, they always run to the boss, they always run to the manager, they always go run and tell the teacher. Women are superheroes. Our portal and giving life is a superpower. We are superior from that alone. Exactly. It's actions only 2025 and beyond. Exactly. I got moved to a completely different building, separated me from all my coworkers, the team of ladies I get to know and had bonded with. Wow. Terrible. Terrible. Do you do tarot readings? No. I'm not that good now. I saw a divinity teacher, so I do know how to do the things of divination. So tarot card readings, I know how to do tea readings. I know how to make I'll make sigils and stuff like that. I know how to I will practice hoodoo and things like that. So I'll make little mojos and things like that. I'm not projecting. Women are literally revealing what they go through with men in the comments. They are all Sims for the women of their dreams. Exactly. I had a guy ask me, "Do you miss me?" And I told him straight up, "No, I have other things to focus on." Yes, I love that. Most of the guys at work just go to work and go home, but some of them can be messy. Yeah, they can. I mean, honestly, there are men that have been messy in the past. Cause men gossip and shit like that too, but it's women will just do too much. I want a man to submit to these bills. That's all I want him for. I heard that. All of this grace for men and going through God knows what for them and with them, but throwing your fellow women under the bus over spilled milk. The crime doesn't fit the punishment. Here's the thing. It's always going to be based off of the situation because it's also going to be based off of what field you work in and what demographic you work in. Because if you work with all men and you're the only woman, your experience is going to be different if you work in a field where you work mostly with women and then not a whole lot of men. Because obviously, based off of the percentage, the statistic, if you're the only woman and you work in a male dominated space, it's going to be the men that are going to be attacking you. Point blank period. It's going to be the men that are going to be attacking you. And then if you work where it's a little bit more mixed, a little bit more co-ed, you have women that want to compete with other women over men. So if there's a hot guy in the office, there are women who are going to sabotage one another to go be with the hot guy in the office. So it's a lot of nuance. It is a lot of nuance. It's not a black and white thing. Cool. I am the high priestess of my coven. Sorry, I'm catching up. You heard that. You talk like a white girl. Yep. Yes, when a man hates you, it'll be more obvious. When a woman hates you, you might sense it, but it's very low key. Yes, and this is why I always have to document shit. And this is why I check shit the second that it happens. I set a boundary immediately. There will be no there will not be any repeated microaggressions because once I sense that you're acting funny, I'm calling that shit out. I'm calling it out right away. Real men don't need to feel like a man externally. They already know from within. If he's insecure, it needs to be told or felt like one from a woman. He's not a real man. He's a boy playing pretend. Exactly. That's the reason why they have the term emasculation. There is no word that is the feminine. There is no synonym for emasculation in the feminine form. There's no word called defeminized. You're not defeminized as a woman. There is no such thing. But a man can be emasculated, which tells you that masculinity is fabricated. It's personified. It's not real. It's made up. That's why they have the term emasculated. All that means is that you built up a structure of fake things for you to be considered masculine, and all I got to do is just kick over your little tower of masculine Legos, and then you're no longer masculine. I have multiple Capricorn placements in my chart, and I was put through it before I was 18. So in my Western chart, I have a lot of Capricorn placements, and I kid you not, my life, oh my goodness, my life is something else. I have been through it and through it and through it and through it and through it. Like, I've been through it to the point where when life is going good, I'm like, okay, I know y'all seen that Beyonce meme going around of her at the Grammys when she's like, that's how I am. When life is going too good, I'm like, it's true. When life is going too good, I'm like, so true. You don't see the opposite with women. Exactly. Men don't like women. Women don't like women. It's all that. This is why I did this video and like showed you guys, because the internal misogyny is not only in men, but it's in women. Like, it's a sickness. It's a sickness. It's terrible. It's terrible. I'm not competing over no pretty boy. Yuck. Exactly. It'd be another person so we could help each other. I think a lot of women that are catty need to uncover their own misogyny. Yeah, all of it is internal misogyny. All of it is internal misogyny, because the brainwashing, it's the brainwashing. Like, literally, my best friend, she's still in New York City, and she was telling me how, like, the women that she's been hanging out with, she's like, oh my gosh, she's like, all they do is talk about men. Like 90% of our conversations is them talking about men. And she's like, I'm so tired of talking about men. She's like, I'm so tired of talking about them in the sense of like love and dating and things like that. I only talk about men to expose their asses. That's it. That's all. I'm only talking about men to empower and to teach women. This is the only time I'm ever talking about men. Outside of this platform, you not hearing me talk about men at fucking all, because I don't care. I genuinely don't care. This tripped me out. Be at work. I never see the bullying happen for somebody else. It's just me. I wish. We need to start voodooing bad bosses. LOL. Listen, when I tell y'all I wanted to get on TikTok and put that fucking place on blast, because like we do have like a group on Facebook. And so I did tell the Facebook group that I am a part of, where we like review facilities and stuff like that. I straight up said in the Facebook group, I'm like, this facility is racist. But man, when I tell you I wanted to use my TikTok platform and just put that place and put them bitches on blast. Yes, the women were so mean to me and passive aggressive because I was very close to one of our team leads, my brother. One finally had the courage to ask, are y'all married? My goodness. My goodness. I was like, he's my brother, dumbass. See, like, worried about the wrong things. Who cares? Honestly, I think masculine energy is bad. We all need masculine energy and feminine energy. So I agree with you. Masculine energy isn't bad. A whole person has masculine and feminine energy. The issue is that due to patriarchal conditioning, masculinity is based in everything that demonizes the feminine. All masculinity is just the reverse of femininity. So this is the reason why masculinity, as it is marketed towards men, is harmful. It's harmful. There's nothing that is there. Most of the things that men are taught to be masculine are harmful to women. And this is why men want you dumb, they want you uglier, they want you they want you to be in reduced form to make them masculine. This is why they say, oh, well, you have a degree, you have an education, you make a lot of money. That's masculine. Well, if it's so masculine, how come you as a man, how come you don't have it? Since it's so masculine, how come you don't have the degree then? How come you're not making six figures then? If it's so masculine, you should have woke up, you should have rolled out of bed and just snapped your fingers and got this. That means that their masculinity is based off of you reducing yourself. Because if you had no degree, if you had no money, you had no education, they would call you feminine. They're gonna all fit when men call women feminine or masculine. All it is, they're just talking about it in a hierarchical complex. That's what they're doing. They're just talking about it in a hierarchy. So when a man calls you masculine, all he is saying is you're superior to me. When a man calls you feminine, all he's saying is you're inferior to me. That's it. That's all. It's that simple. Men, when they're talking about masculinity and femininity, they're saying masculine and feminine, but their head is thinking in hierarchies. They put masculinity here and femininity here. A real man would love that you were educated. And this is the reason why I only deal with men that are educated. Like I've never had a man tell me that like they don't care about my degree or they don't like the fact that I'm educated or anything like that. I've always dealt with men that have valued me being educated, thank God. Men marry plain Jane women because they are easier to manipulate. Exactly. Real witches know you don't just wake up and decide to be one because you want to be rebellious. You're born with it. You don't talk shit being crazy, but you want to be a witch. Makes no sense. Huh? You know, obviously no one in this chat wants you, right? Yeah, like what is going on? Like what is going on? Why the hate up in here, girl? You're at the wrong place. I feel like Rihanna channels masculine and feminine energy very well. Yes, she's like a chameleon. Like that's what I always say about Rihanna. She's legit like a chameleon. Like she's very, very good at like mastering the art of both. I have toxic masculinity, JK. I have toxic masculinity. Women can have toxic masculinity. Competing over a man like he is some prize is crazy. I joined your Patreon because I want to get the tea. Yeah, girl. The tea is listen, I got quite a few things on there. The tea is hot. Can someone please explain to me what bougie means? It's like sophisticated. Yeah, so bougie pretty much means like upper echelon, upper class. You like the finer things in life. You want the princess treatment. You want the top tier. That's what bougie is. So people call me bougie. How can you show a facility is racist without them saying black words? There is no way. Like, there is no way without you mentioning that. Mm-mm. Men never give women the benefit of the doubt. They always assume you're a gold digger or a liar when it comes to a SA or abuse. They will assume you asked for it, are fast. Exactly. They're always blaming us. Just like Miranda in the episode of SATC, she was fed up with talking about boys all the time. Yup. How did you get a best friend? Are they genuine? I'm having a hard time getting a real friend. Okay, when I tell y'all that I have not had friends for majority of my life, I didn't have friends. And I want to be like transparent. So it's also like my fault as well because I've always been like a very emotionally guarded person. And so I've never been vulnerable ever. I've never, ever been vulnerable. And so the friendships that I did have were always very surface level because no one really tried to like get to know me deeper. And so I had friends, but I didn't have like a best friend, like someone where they know my life, they know my struggles, they know my fears, they know my passions, my dreams, like that strong, like deep vulnerability. But the girl that is my best friend, she's the only person still in my life who like actually like did the work to like crack me open and like did it with like empathy. Like she wasn't like in my business. You know what I'm saying? Like she wasn't like trying to get the tea. She was like genuinely like coming from like a very, very like empathetic place and like really, really was interested in getting to know me as a person, not just who I was presenting as like this like perfect, happy, everything is going fine in my life type of person. She was the only person that I met who actually wanted to get to know me on a deeper level and get to know like the shadows, the dark side, those things like that. And so it was reciprocated, and like she's never used my vulnerability against me. She's never used my past against me, and like vice versa. You know what I mean? Like it was reciprocated on both ends. The vulnerability was equal. All of those things were equal, but we met at work. We met at work. It's all because the pandemic. Had the panini not happened, she would have never been my best friend because we actually worked on two completely different sides of the hospital. We weren't even working with each other, but due to the panini, it forced me to be in the department that she was working. And what's crazy is that when I first started working there, because she worked there before I did, when we first started working together, there were actually coworkers that were like talking shit about her to me. And I've never been one of those people that will take a biased opinion from people and just like run with it. I just listen. I hear, but I don't necessarily like listen and internalize what they tell me because I want to form my own experience because I have enough intelligence to know that everyone else's experience is not reflective of mine. It's nice when you meet someone to really genuinely accept you and you can be vulnerable with. I hope everyone experiences a friend like that. Me too. I don't have friends. Women tend to show me they are jealous and users. Some with men, but learn men and women can't really be friends. Nope, they can't. They can't. I don't open up to anyone emotionally because I know they don't care. Yeah, like I said before, like to this day, she's really the only person that I open up to emotionally, like for real, for real. She's really the only person that like I really, really fully open up with emotionally. And like I said, like I didn't even meet her until I was like 28 or 29. And then also another reason why she's a good friend is because we both give each other criticism and like we don't take it as an attack. Like we both check each other on our personality traits, our weaknesses, how we're making one another feel. Like we're okay having those uncomfortable conversations, and it's not like a cat fight or any passive aggression. Like no, like we have no problem having those difficult conversations at all. You're born a witch. You don't decide to become one. This isn't Charmed or a Hollywood production. Okay, we're gonna block you. We're gonna block you. Okay, glad that we got that trash out of there. So anyway, um, you met her close to your Saturn return. Yeah, that's true. Same here. I have friends like this, and I get sad when I see others say they don't have friends or they have been screwed bad by women in their life. Yes. Yay, lots of fellow pagans love this space, Queen Sovereign. Thank you, Joni. That's why I like you. It's obvious you're real and self aware. Thank you. Yeah, no hate allowed in here. I mean, for the most part, I feel like, my channel brings in people with like good energy, respectful people. We don't really have any problems ever in the chat with people getting out of line or being disrespectful, but that's because I try to keep strict boundaries over here. I don't deal with like I don't have time for that. If you don't like what we're talking about, you just leave. Yes, my best friend since we were 13. She's the only one who knows every single thing about me. My only best friend. I'm 35 and she's 33. That's my baby girl. Oh, I love that. I love that. And it's so weird that that lady was it's so weird that that lady was saying that like you're born a witch. Like so weird. So freaking weird. Like come on. Come on. Well, I was 13, she was 11. But I mean, that's nice that you got a friend, like a long lasting friendship, and you got it that young. I'm trying to make friends. I have a solid peer support online. No friends in real life. Well, one new one. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I've never like been in pursuit of friends, honestly. Um and like I do things alone, and also I was raised the only child. So I'm really used to doing things like alone and kind of just like being a loner in general, to be honest with you. Um However, um, I feel like this, it is harder to make friends now because like we have technology and our phones, and people don't necessarily go out of their way to like meet up with people, take flights, do things like that. Everyone's busy, everyone's working, everyone has obligations. So it's a lot harder these days, I feel like. It is. It's a lot harder these days. I've always been drawn to witchcraft, even as a Christian. Yeah, I mean, I look at it like this. They were burning those witches for a reason. Okay. I'm sorry. You don't burn any human being alive. You don't burn people at the stake. You don't harm a group of people unless it's something that you're afraid of. Like I always say, you don't trip over what's behind you, meaning that you don't oppress a group of people unless there's something powerful about them. You don't harm a group of people unless it's something powerful about them. Like that's just human freaking nature. Like that's just human freaking nature. For instance, homeless people. I homeless people, like, I'm not trying to be rude, but like homeless people don't have any power. Homeless people don't have anything that I would want to possess. So I'm not going to do anything or think to do anything to a homeless person because they don't have anything that I want. They don't possess anything that I would like to take or would be jealous of. People are only going to harm or oppress a group of people if it's something that they want, if it's some type of power that that group holds. Is a witch supposed to be a bad thing? That wouldn't be an insult to me. Exactly. That's why I don't understand like why she was like getting in the chat, like saying that, because I have had people that like come in here and like they're like devout Christians, like they're full on, like full blown Christian. And so when I get into my woo woo talks, they take it like super personally, and like they start trying to like challenge my beliefs and stuff like that. And I just have them exit stage left, because I mean, to me it's really not that serious. They really hurt themselves by rejecting their feminine traits, their empathy, sensitivity, intuition, hence their outright rigidity. It's out of self survival in the corporate world. Exactly. All my friends turned out to be my biggest haters, even when they had more than me. My last best friend was a Leo, fine AF, had a Benz, and was still wanting to throw shade at me. Because the thing about it is that someone can have the material, like people can have the things in the physical, but your aura, like that's the thing. Only you can have your aura. No one else can have your aura. She got a Benz, you also can get a Benz. Even if she was finer than you can get surgery, you can get Botox, you can get lip fillers, you can get a facelift. You can do all the things that she does. But what she cannot do is like take your aura, take your spirit, the way, like your magnetism, like those are the things. Because like even like where the situation that happened with my workplace, I would not only say that it was racism, but I would say above racism it was jealousy. You know what I mean? Racism and jealousy, if you are a black woman or a woman of color, or I mean, if there's anything else that you fit into, maybe you're a lesbian or LGBTQ or overweight, pretty much you're pretty much any sector outside of what would be objectively like superior. Um the thing about it is that it's also jealousy in addition to what they don't like about you. So, like, for instance, like, this is the reason why people have a large problem with overweight women who are confident. They want women to be overweight and have a low self-esteem and hate themselves. They're fine when an overweight woman is doing that. They have no problem with an overweight doing that. But when an overweight woman is confident, that's when she's going to start getting attacked. Well, how dare you think that you're a 10? How dare you wear that? How dare you have that much confidence? So it's not just the fact that she's overweight, it's the fact that she's overweight and she's confident. It's her aura, it's her energy, it's her magnetism, it's the fact that she actually likes herself. And the reason why people are jealous of that is because most people don't like themselves. So no matter whatever it is that you perceive that they have, and you're like, but you're pretty, you got this, you got that, they don't have your aura. I don't buy into black or white magic. It is just good or bad intentions. And if you know how energy works, you don't send negativity. Exactly. Like, that's really what it is. Confidence is a triggering energy. Exactly. Damn, that's what my mom and my therapist said. She literally tried to beat me up because I broke off the friendship. She wanted me to be her sidekick, and I didn't go for it. Exactly. People I looked up to were jealous of me. Exactly. It's your aura. Like, it's your aura and your energy. Yes, they put women in jail when a woman protect herself, even if the men did gangbangs on those women, pimp them out, drug them, pass them around at college parties. Yeah, they don't care. They don't care. They got rid of my job rub that they got a promotion at their job, then called me broke, saying nobody gonna want you. You're broke. So ridiculous. Renee, what you put out, you get back. Stay away from messing with others. Will best to do things from harm no one. That's right. It's impossible to fake energy or magnetism. Exactly. It just hurt a lot because it's like using a person that hurt me to use them to hurt me some more. She's effed up for that. She knew how much she hurt me. That was literally a heartbreak. They hurt women and abuse them for control and to feel powerful. It's an ego boost for them and cheap thrill to feel powerful. Yes. Yes. But your moon being in Gemini makes sense because I see that you try to be objective, analyzing both sides of a matter before forming a judgment and all. Yeah, exactly. I always look at both sides. I do. I always look at both sides. Um, and like, I legit try to be like, I try to be as objective as possible. Thank you, Honorata Stardust. Thanks for being so responsive to our messages. You're the best. Do you mind answering my question about your astrology placements? Okay, well, I just read your other super chat. Did I miss another chat? But I was wondering what your rising sign in tropical is, if you don't mind sharing. I know you are a Cap Sun, and also wondering your Venus sign too. I honestly don't remember. I honestly don't remember. My best friend is like crazy into astrology. Like, she is the one that's like really, really big into astrology. And so she knows my birth chart, and like, she's the one that tells me about my birth chart. I only know a little bit of it, but I really don't know it like that. I've been looking into it for a while, but it's hard to find stuff pertaining to black witchcraft, voodoo. Look into hoodoo, Renee. Look into hoodoo. I'll have to let me see if I can find the name of the book. So I have a lot of books. Like a lot of books. But you definitely should get into hoodoo, because that was like the first like African, that was like the first like kind of like the first form of witchcraft that like blacks did, African Americans did, Africans did. It's all good. Yeah, I'm obviously crazy into it too. It literally explains the psychology of so many people. It's fascinating. It's crazy fascinating. Me like knowing aspects of my birth chart has like changed my life. It has. It's changed my life. I feel like, especially women, like, you should know your birth chart. So you should know your birth chart. You should know your personality type. So like, I know that I'm an ENTJ. You also should look into your Enneagram and see what your Enneagram is. these are all things that will make your life significantly easier. It will allow you to find what your purpose in life is. It will allow you to like understand like how your love life will go, your placing with friendships, the workplace, government, law, in-laws, money, finances, all of those things. Makes your life a lot easier. Aw, thank you, Kelly, for the super sticker. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Purchase the Hoodoo Bible. Hey, do you have knowledge on why the feminine manifested the masculine for? I had searched but did not find yet. So honestly, I don't know. That actually is something that I plan to do more research in because I'm quite curious. I'm quite curious to know why men were even created in the first place. Um, I do believe that men were created out of parthenogenesis. So if you are not familiar with parthenogenesis, pretty much parthenogenesis is when you you have something that is created from your own body. It's like the Virgin Mary, right? So like the Virgin Mary ended up having a baby, but like she was a virgin, so she didn't have intercourse in order to have a baby, okay? And then when they say in the Bible that um Adam created Eve like from his rib. That is a form of parthenogenesis. I talked about this before on my TikTok live, but pretty much there is proof of this that happens in women because women can create there's a mass that women can create. It's called a dermoid cyst. The technical term is called a teratoma, and it is a mass that is in the ovary, and it contains hair, and it contains skin, and it also contains teeth. That's already proof there that we have the ability to just be able to create basic cells without us having to have intercourse, without us having to actually have genetic material be inserted inside of us in order to grow the cells of a human. But why, the reasoning why like we birthed a man and like the man was, what was created through parthenogenesis, I really don't know. It's something that I definitely want to look more into. Has anyone read The Great Cosmic Mother? Very insightful book. My best friend has that book. I don't even think she started reading it because that book is very thick and the print is very small. I genuinely think they were created to be meat shields during the dinosaur ages. That's why they're so drawn to danger. Yeah, that makes sense. Like the way that I look at it is that like initially they were used as like some type of like form of like protection. They had to have been. Imagine being able to have a biological kid without being tied to a man. Oh my God, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Like, that would be so amazing. But that does check. I mean, it does check out. Men scare me so much, girl. Who you telling? Joni said we created men to serve us. I agree. Your highest degree planet in Vedic astrology is your soul's purpose. Yep, exactly. Yep. Oh yeah, numerology. Yep, I'm in numerology as well. I'm a master number. I am. I'm a master number in numerology. So numerology is also a very, very good one for you to look into. I'm a master number. The Queen Poe is a YouTuber who talks about hoodoo. Oh, nice. Isn't hoodoo voodoo plus Christianity? No, it's not. It's not. Okay, so the origination of hoodoo actually comes from Africa. Voodoo is different. Voodoo is like Creole. So voodoo is what they practice in like Louisiana and stuff like that. Voodoo and hoodoo are two like completely different like spiritual entities. Oh, nice. I've been 11 too. I am. I'm a master number 11 as well. Yes, it all ties together. I wish more therapists and psychs were more open to acknowledging the validity of astrology and how it helps to understand a person and their gift struggles nature. 100%. That's also the reason why I'm reading this book called When the Body Says No by Gabor Mate, because he actually was a physician for 20 years. And in the book, he kind of talks about how in Western medicine, how when it comes to like the profession, and when it comes to the medical field, and I'm in the medical field, we always like have the organs separated. And so it's almost like they're taught in medical school that like your brain and your body are two separate entities, and that they're not, they don't work together on a causative level, if that makes sense. So like for autoimmune diseases, you know what I mean? It's still like gospel in the medical field where autoimmune diseases are usually like genetic, like they just try to attribute it to genetics, and it's just like, oh, like one day you had like a mutation and then like boom, like you acquired this like autoimmune disorder or whatever. When in reality, it's not just that. Okay, there are other environmental factors that are going on. In the book, he talks about how people get flare-ups, and people have these things happen usually after traumatic experiences, after times of like very heightened stress. They will end up either like having these autoimmune disorders, or if they do have an autoimmune disorder, having a high level of cortisol, a high level of stress, any other environmental factors will actually cause them to like have a flare up. So I think across all sectors, when it comes to the medical field, whether it's like psychology, whether it's anything within your body, we do need to tie into like environmental factors, like astrological factors, even like your parents and stuff like that. All this stuff is like very, very interesting. Autoimmune diseases are connected to trauma held up in the body. Exactly. It's like in the body keeps, it's like in the book, the body keeps the score. Oh my God. Hi. I just caught your channel and I'm loving this content. New sub here. Oh, well, welcome. Welcome. As a life path number 8, it's funny that the year I graduated adds up to number 8 as well. And I always see number 8. See, I love that. And I'm into Yoruba. I had a vision about my Orisha before I knew she existed. Oh, wow. That's cool. I know there is an African voodoo and a Louisiana voodoo. Yeah, I think there are. Yeah, there's an African voodoo. Life Past 7. Nice. Now I know why I was drawn to your YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm really spiritual. I'm all into like the woo-woo stuff and like all that stuff. Me too. I'm an 11. Okay, we got a lot of 11s in the house. Okay, I love that. Yes, voodoo is practiced in Haiti. Yes, voodoo is definitely practiced in Haiti. 100%. They try to say that we're the helpmate when in actuality, that's the supporting character. Exactly. Exactly. Men are the supporting character. Like who's there for who during childbirth? Like they're the supporting role during childbirth. Like they're the accessory. Hey, Sister Cap Rose, I was born in January 14th. Yes, I love that. The January babies. My birthday's January 6th. Same life path 8. Oh, I love this. I love this. That's true. One time my friend was mad at her husband about something, and just talking about it made her break out in hives on her chest. Yes. That's what he talks about in the book. He said that he had one patient and like she had a really bad flare up after she found out that her husband was cheating. That's why I said like men, like they're the causes of like your sicknesses and your illnesses and all of your body changing. They're the cause of that shit. I'm sorry. I'm not letting no man stress me out. Point blank period. I'm not letting no fucking man stress me out. Not doing it. Nope. The skin gonna stay smooth. The skin gonna stay clean, clear. The body gonna stay snatched. The mental gonna stay strong. The smile's gonna stay up. I'm not letting no man take away my youth and beauty and my health. Nope. It's a shame that women bring men in the world and they have treated us like we are not human. It's wild. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And it's like what I said in my last live. It kills me. Like, it's crazy to me that we literally live in a world where if a mother has a son and a daughter, she will be more concerned about her daughter becoming pregnant and creating life. And she will never think that she will have a son, and she won't even think about the possibility that she will have a son that will take someone's life. That won't even be an option in her brain, that she has created someone that has an increased chance of taking someone's life. But you are concerned about your daughter bringing a life into the world. It makes no sense. It's ass backwards. The longer I stay away from them, the better I look. Girl, I'm telling you, I'm fucking telling you, ain't no man ever going to be able to convince me to keep no man. Why can't you keep a man? And this is what cracks me up. Men, you got to start using this. You got to start using this on men. So men are always saying that, well, women don't stay. Women file for divorce 70% of the time. And so you want to know what I say? I say, no. It's not that women are leaving 70% of the time. It's that you men have a success rate when it comes to marriages. You have a 30% success rate when it comes to marriages. Why would I want to marry a gender that has a success rate of 30% when it comes to women? They have a 30% success rate when it comes to marriage because they're getting left. They're getting left. They're not doing the leaving. They're getting left. They're getting left 70% of the time. That means that they can only keep a woman 30% of the time. It means the same people that are asking you, why can't you keep a man? Why can't you keep a man? The proof is in the pudding. Y'all can't keep a woman. Y'all can't keep a woman. You can only keep a woman 30% of the time. That's horrible odds. You can only keep a woman happy 30% of the time. You'll never be able to convince me to get married. With that low of a success rate, nope, I'm not missing out. I'm not missing out. Oh, they don't want to hear that. Nope. Whenever I tell them that, they shut the fuck up. Whenever I tell them that, they shut the fuck up. They don't know what to say. Some women abuse their sons too. There is some accountability on both sides. They grow up revengeful and take it out on other women. They are scared of women. I believe you. Can I also say I was with my ex and I was breaking out, stressed out, digmatized, hair falling out, while the man in my life now, my skin is clear, flowing, and my feminine and just relaxed at ease. See, I love that. I'm sorry, but usually those men that are toxic, they know they're toxic. And so because they know they are toxic, they are going to kill it in the bedroom. Okay. They're going to kill it in the bedroom because they need something to keep you distracted from the toxicity they're bringing into your life. So usually those really, really toxic men that you end up in a relationship with, dick two bomb. It's going to be two bomb. It's going to be too good because that is their only saving grace. If they treat you like shit and they suck in bed, there's no hope for them. There's no hope for them. Never trust a man that's too good in bed. And you have all these other symptoms that are happening too. Nope. He's trying to keep you from not having to pay attention to all the toxicity he's bringing into your life. So he's like, you know what? Let me put it down in the bedroom so she can forget about everything. You're so inspiring. Thank you. Okay, Joni is a Life Path 8 and an ENTJ. Okay, we got another ENTJ in the house. They watch tutorials to be better in bed. Yeah, girl, they be having group chats and everything. They be having Reddit, they be having subreddits and everything, y'all. When I tell you that these men, like literally, when men don't have a place to stay, when men want to be a hobosexual, you know, when men really want something from you, girl, they gonna pull out all the stops. They gonna pull out all the stops in that bedroom, okay? They gonna have you convulsing in that thing. They gonna have you convulsing in that thing to try to get whatever it is they want out of you. They always have the best D, yes. I told my Uber driver that men get more out of marriage than women and that we do fine without them and live longer than them. I told him that men can't survive without us. They can't. They can't. If men could not survive without us, why do they go to such great lengths to deal with us? Like I did that video with the passport, bro. And men try to market it as men try to make us feel bad and be like, well, we don't want you. We're going to a different country then. No, that just means you're fucking desperate then. No, that just means you're fucking desperate then. Think of the process you have to go through. You have to get a passport, book a flight, look for a place that you're going to be staying at and pay for that, book the flight back. They're going to places where they don't even speak the fucking language. They're putting their life at risk. They're putting their life at risk going to a whole country. They don't know anybody. They're going alone. They don't speak the language. They're meeting up with someone that they met online. That's disparity. That is disparity. Sorry, but you're never going to make me feel bad about going to another country to go meet women. All that does is just show that you're desperate and that you can't survive without women. If your go-to is to go to a whole different country where they're robbing you, they're unaliving you, they're giving you sexually transmitted diseases, if you have to go that far and those are the three things that are in front of you that you have to overcome, you're fucking desperate. You're fucking desperate. There are people here from all over the world, yes, and I have no respect for culture. Exactly. No respect for culture at all. They don't care about the family values that these women have when they're in other cultures. Like, they're not looking into any of this research. They're not even trying to learn the fucking language of where it is that they're trying to locate, where they're trying to go. And then the thing that's so funny, they think that these fools think that those women don't want women either. They think that because these women are in a different country, in a poorer country, that they don't want money. No, they want money too. You're gonna run into the same exact problem that you had here in the United States. Women like money because women like stability. Women like stability and security. Women aren't willy-nilly people because our cortisol, it's way too sensitive. Women don't react to stress. Women react to stress a lot more harshly than men do. Men can sustain high levels of stress. And so for us to be in predicaments where we don't have financial security, it makes us uncomfortable. Dusty men are going over there. Let them go. Girl, they can all go out there. Whenever a man is like, well, that's why we're getting our passports and going to other countries. I'm like, well, can you take the rest with you? Like, can y'all all board? Like, can all y'all go and like board like one whole plane with all of you to go over there? Like, can you take everyone over there with you, please? Like, all the women will just have the United States. Like, I'm fine with that. Women, we can just have the United States and y'all can all go over there. Please take them all with you. Please get them out of here. Russian women dry out pockets. Hell yeah, they do. Hell yeah, they do. I remember that. Damn, I gotta find it, but I don't know if y'all have seen that interview where it was an American man and he was like having like an interview or something with like a Russian woman, and he was like, so how do you feel about going 50-50? Like, how do you feel about going 50-50? And she's like, 50-50? Like, what do you mean? Like, you're gonna do 50% and like pay my car note, and then you're gonna do like 50% and pay like my house note? Like, what do you mean 50-50? Like, the way she was spinning it, she was like, I'm not involved in the 50-50. Like, I'm not involved in the 50-50. You're gonna pay 50% of like 2 bills or 50%. Like, how are you going to do this? Like, you're going to pay 50% of the bill the beginning of the month and then the other 50% at the end of the month. Like, she wasn't even factoring herself into the 50-50. All that money they spent leaving, they could have saved by dating a woman in America. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because the flight The flight's probably like $700, probably. So that's $700. These are the same men who want to ask you for a coffee date, but you got $700 to go blow on some foreign punani. Yeah, she's like, I'm not involved in the 50-50. What you talking about 50-50? You paying 50% at the beginning of the month, the 50%, the other 50% at the other half of the month. She was like, what you talking about 50-50? Like, I'm not paying anything. If a guy asks you what you want for Valentine's Day, do you go all out or play humble? I want to send him a diamond bracelet. Oh, sorry. You telling him that you want a diamond bracelet. I mean, I feel like this. Tell him that you want a diamond bracelet and go from there. I mean, tell him what you want. Don't ask, tell him. Yeah, sure. That's what she said. She said, sure, you give me 50% of your income, your 401 property. Exactly. That's exactly what she said. She was like, 50-50, you're going to give me 50% of your home. Like, that's why I said she wasn't even factoring in. She wasn't even factoring in herself on contributing shit. She was like, you're giving me 50% of like your equity, your ownership. Is that what you're doing? On 90 Day Fiance, this Russian woman wanted to be a model. She said, well, give me 15K to stay home. He said, no, shaking my head. See, like the Russian women are like, no. The Russian women are like, cash in hand, please. They want to isolate women here who don't have independence so they can abuse her. It's disgusting. Exactly. It's disgusting. They want you poor. They want you poor so they can have power. And that's absolutely ridiculous. That lady was a doll. So funny and cute at the same time. No, I loved it. I freaking loved it. And then that Russian lady was like, what will you do for me? He was like, protect you. And she goes, oh, honey, I'm Russian. I don't need your protection. Girl, that's what be cracking me up. If you ask them for anything that they can offer you, I'll protect you. He also said that he would make her laugh. I remember him saying that. I'll make you laugh. I'll protect you. Oh, yeah, I'll protect you. It's like, I carry a firearm. I don't need your protection. What are you going to be, my bodyguard? You can't be my bodyguard 24/7. That's what kills me about men who are like, well, who's going to change your tire? Who's going to protect you? Who's going to do this? And it's like, you're trying to make it seem as if you're going to be a 24/7 bodyguard. Like, you're not even going to be around me all the time to do all this shit that you claim that you're going to be able to do to protect me. Like, men don't even want to go to the grocery store with their own wives. And you're talking about you're going to protect a woman. You don't even want to do shit with your own kids. You don't even want to leave the house on the weekends. And you're sitting here saying that you're going to protect somebody. How are you going to protect someone and you're not even with them 24/7? Russian girls don't play that 50-50 brokey-ish. No, they don't. They sure don't. They sure don't. One passport brother needed help to get back home to America by asking for a GoFundMe. Does anyone remember that? Yeah. In sin, I told him I don't have children and was not married and happy with my life. He got mad. He said that's what people say, but he didn't believe it. Right. I can protect myself. I have a firearm. I have a taser. I have a knife. I have all the weapons. I legit have all the weapons. I'm good. Let me tell you that. I'm good. I hope you get that bracelet, girl. I hope you get that bracelet, girl. But yeah, I just tell men. I do. I just tell men. I'm not playing humble. Nope. If I want to laugh, I can go to YouTube and play a funny video or hire a clown. Exactly. And most men aren't funny anyway. Men's idea of funny is racist jokes, humiliation, embarrassment. That's their form of like being funny. That's their form of being funny. If they are the damn danger. Exactly. Exactly. That's why I crack up when women will tell men and be like, "Oh, like I wish we didn't live amongst men," and then men would be like, "Well, who's gonna protect you then if we're not here?" And it's like, think a little deeper. You're almost there. Think a little bit deeper. It's like, there wouldn't be anything to protect us from because you wouldn't be here, dumbass. Like, that's the whole point. Because that's how men think. Men create problems, they create the problems, and then they hire themselves to fix the problem. Like, that's why we've had what, like 48 presidents, 48 or 49 presidents. I don't fucking know what number we're on. That's why we've had almost 50 presidents and nothing has changed because one party causes a problem, the other party claims to fix the problem, they create a new set of problems, and then they just wash, rinse, repeat. Create problems, claim to fix problems, create new problems. Wash, rinse, repeat over and over. What do you think about the Love After Lockup show? Why do women seek relationships from someone inside? Girl, I've never ever watched that show. I can't get myself to do it. I can't get myself to watch a show like that because it's almost like the way that those dynamics are when women will entertain men that are locked up, it's pretty much synonymous to men wanting a woman to be a stay-at-home mom because they know that with the stay-at-home mom, she's not going to have the freedom to do anything. Because usually these women who go after men who are locked up, I'm going to keep it real. They don't look like nothing. I'm going to just keep it real. They don't look like nothing. And a lot of them have a low self-esteem. And so a lot of them want to go after these men in prison because they know they can't get cheated on, but they are getting cheated on. They're getting cheated on when they're dropping the soap in the goddamn bathroom. You know what I mean? Or they're bonding with their cellmate. Like, you're still getting cheated on. These men are getting bent over in jail. That show is so bad. The men walk all over the women. Sheesh, a lot of problems would probably be fixed by now. Exactly. Notice we have never had a female president either. Exactly. Yeah, you said that show makes me angry. There's no way that I could watch that show without my blood pressure going through the fucking roof. Because I did watch one documentary. I watched one documentary of a woman. She actually worked in the prison. She worked in the prison. She ended up having a romantic relationship with one of the inmates. And then she fucking freed the inmate. And then he killed them. He fucking killed them both. He killed him and her. You fell in love with an inmate that took your fucking life. Like, what? Like, psychologically there's something wrong with women that go after criminals. Like, there's psychologically something wrong. Exactly. We don't need protection from other women. Exactly. Like, y'all are the problem. Exactly. She was laughing at him already. Men don't really have a personality. Not at all. You're so beautiful. I'm from the Philippines. Oh, hey. Your channel helps me. When my marriage ended, I realized being good girl or submissive woman is not enough for any man. They are endless. Yes. They're endless. But hello, I love my ladies from the Philippines. One of my really good friends is she's from the Philippines actually. And so she was born in the Philippines. Her husband is Filipino, but he was born in the United States. But much love from my Filipinas. She fell for the okie doke. I bet she in the spirit realm pissed off. Oh my God. I was making food earlier today. And I was just thinking to myself and I was like, you know what? God forbid, but if I had some situation where some man wiped me out of the physical world, I would make it my mission to taunt him from the spiritual realm. Like, I don't care who it is, man or woman, if my death is fated by another person taking me out, I am going to fuck that person over in so many forms from the spirit realm. I'm going to ruin their life. I am going to ruin their life from the spirit realm. Like, I'm gonna fucking knock over their fucking, I'm gonna be a ghost. I'm gonna make it so that I don't even transform all the way over. I'm going to be a ghost and I'm gonna fucking haunt them. Like, I will be a stain that you cannot wipe away. Get him, queen. I will be vindictive from the spirit realm all day. I don't even care. I will happily ruin your life from the spirit realm. No, I will happily ruin your life from the spirit realm. Yep, I'll just be Casper. I will be Casper. I'll be making all. I'll be. That happened in the show Being Human. Yes, like I am a firm believer that like spirits, like when they like go into like those like places and it has like a lot of like a lot of activity, I would be one of those people. I would be one of those fucking people. No. Nope, I'm gonna ruin people's lives. You ruin my life. Nope, I'm gonna ruin your life then while you're alive. Then I'm gonna make sure that you hate your life. I'm gonna make sure that you are looking over your shoulder. I'm gonna make sure that you are paranoid as fuck. I am going to make sure that you don't trust anyone. You have paranoia. You start hearing sounds and you start smelling colors and you start hearing all types of shit. I'm going to fucking have you in a mental institution. I'm going to have you in a straitjacket by the time I'm done with you. What's your zodiac, gorgeous? I'm a Capricorn. Someone said that too. That is such a Capricorn thing to say. But I'm telling you, it's the truth. It's the absolute truth. It is the absolute truth. I 100% intend for that to happen if that is my fate. If someone takes me out. Well, the whole family tried it. I gotta watch that movie. I never seen it before. Imagine taunting someone. Imagine taunting someone. Imagine taunting someone from the spiritual realm. Oh man, I'd be cracking up. I'm finna sleep torture. Boo mother. You gonna pull the covers off of them while they're sleeping, Joni? Or are you gonna be a succubus? You gonna be a succubus while they're sleeping? Be their be their sexual deviant while they're sleeping? Violate them while they're in their sleep. Boo, you brought this on yourself. Exactly. Exactly. Oh my god, that's so funny. That's so funny. Hell yeah, pull covers, wet their socks. When they're sleeping, I'm gonna cut on their speaker, I'm gonna cut on their Bluetooth speaker and have their phone play music and blast it real loud while they're asleep. Wait, oh my god, oh my god, where did that noise come from? Oh my god, they're gonna be freaking the fuck out. They gonna be freaking the fuck out. They gonna hop out that bed. They gonna hop out that bed if that shit happens. Put all the toilet paper in the toilet, right? They gonna try to get inside their house. They gonna try to open the door. They gonna try to open the door to get inside their house, and I'm gonna just close it back. I'm gonna close it back and lock the door right up. I'm gonna lock it back right away so they can't even get into their own house. He's waking. Someone said it. I didn't want to say it, but Faye, you said it. He's waking up with a sore booty every morning. Yes. Yes. You said exactly what I wanted to say. Yes. I'm gonna be Peggy. I'm gonna be Peggy up in that thing. Turn on water faucets. Exactly. Make them think they gotta light candles in shit while I'm hanging off the ceiling. Like, yes. I did that to an asshole guest when I worked front desk at a hotel, gave them a 3 a.m. wake up call. Oh, that's good. That's good. We on demon time. Literal demon time. Oh man. Okay, it can't possibly be a woman asking me whose hair this is. This has to be a man. Cause see, the men that get in here, let me look. Hold on. Let me see. Are you a man or are you a woman? I can't tell. I see babies. It's babies in the picture. It has to be a man. Because see, the men will do this shit where they will use a girl name. They'll use a girl name and then get in my chat. It is like, come on. No fucking woman is asking me in that form whose hair is that. It's your mama's wig. I borrowed it from her. Now what? Anyway. I would write SLUT on my ex's mirror. I know that's right. Yeah, it's definitely a troll account. It's gotta be. I'm trying to think of anything. I'm trying to think of anything else vindictive that I would do. I'm trying to think of anything else vindictive that I would do. I probably would do something vindictive if it was like a man that did something to me and then like he got like a girlfriend or like a wife or something. I would probably try to find some way to like sabotage that too. I would try to find some way to sabotage that too. Like, oh, I know what I would do when they weren't home. Like, let's say that they're gonna do like a Netflix and chill or something. What I would do is like, I don't know. And if I could, I would try to find a way, like if they're watching a movie, I would put like gay corn on the TV. Like I would have him like pick up the remote. He would pick up the remote to like put on the movie and I would just cut it on to like gay corn or something. She'd be like, this is what you're watching. Oh, like I would fuck up everything. I would sabotage everything. Full on Ghostbusters fridge scene and be speaking mannish AF. Yes. Brace yourself when a father, brother, or uncle says that thing, they let you know they are just men. I shut down a dude's whole Facebook account because he was an ungrateful cheater. Exactly. Listen, the people don't understand, okay? I have vengeful ideologies. I do. I have vengeful ideologies in the amount of control that I have taken to never act out any of my vindictive or vengeful ideologies. Everyone should be grateful. Everyone should be grateful because the way my brain works, I know how to ruin a person's life. I know how to ruin a person's fucking life if I truly wanted to. But you want to know what? Karma works like really well for me because literally every single person that's like ever done me wrong, worst karma in their life. Like one of my exes cheated on me and a couple years later he ended up dying in a car crash. The girl that tried to sabotage me, she got fired from her job and she became a felon not too long after that. And she ended up gaining like 40 pounds. It looked terrible after she fucked with me. So as much as I will want to like act in revenge, I don't because The universe always does it for me. Yeah, exactly. And I want to make sure I don't build any karmic debt. Hey Queen, I'm late. Hey chat, what did I miss? Oh, you missed an extra, like this was I Okay, sorry about that. We've been on here for like 3 hours, but the first like hour and a half was us like breaking down like this video that we were watching. And so pretty much for the last like 90 minutes, we've been talking about like spiritual stuff and things like that. Queen, you are protected by a higher power. Exactly. Exactly. Oh yeah, Nair and hair conditioner. Oh, that's a good one. I let them play into their own demise. Your truth will remain. The lie on me will fade. Yeah, and I'm not trying to have no karmic debt. I'm trying to do everything I can while I am here in the physical world, and I'm trying to live out my purpose and create and make sure that I live out my purpose, because I don't want to come back here again in the physical realm. Okay. I don't want to do this shit again. So I am trying to make sure that I am taking all the signs from the universe to make sure that I'm doing exactly what the fuck I'm here to do. Taking all the signs, listening to all the signs, being very intentional. I ain't trying to come back to this motherfucker. I'm really not trying to. So yeah. Oh dang. Dang. They got a gift. They got a gift that they're stuck with forever. No jealousy with who they end up with. Dang. Dang, that sucks. Lots of love from Sydney, Australia. I love your content. You're so intelligent. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We got an Aussie. We got an Aussie. My accent probably fucking sucks, but wallaby. Wallaby. Oh, look, there's a wallaby. I don't want to come back here either, especially with these men here. Girl, I'm telling you, I don't want to go through this shit ever again. That's why I'm like, listen, I'm trying my hardest, okay? I'm trying my hardest to get it while I am here. While I am here in the physical realm, because I ain't trying to come back here. It's ghetto here. I give it 1 star. This is terrible. I used to love Rocco's Modern Life, and he was a wallaby. Yes, kangaroo-ish. Yeah. You're a karma manifester for people. You damn right I am. You damn right I am. No one fucks me over. Like literally, no one fucks me over and like doesn't have karma tied to them. No one. Like not a single person. Like one of my exes, he lost his business after we ended up breaking up. Like literally everyone that's done me wrong, they always had karma come back quickly. Very, very, very quickly too. Another guy that I was dealing with, after we got done dealing with one another, his dad got fired from the police department. They confiscated all of his weapons because the guy that I was dating at the time was also in the police department. It looked really really bad. His dad was plastered in the newspaper. It gave them really bad press for the family. I don't ever have to worry about any get back on my end, because the universe just does it for me. The universe is like, it's all done. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, thank you, universe. Oh my God. Thank you. We're talking about pegging men from the afterlife. In 90s Nickelodeon was top tier. Yes. I love Rocco. Oh my God, we're going far back. We're going far back. The Board of Health has to investigate if they get an inquiry up to prosecution for refusal. I don't want to come back. It's ghetto here, geez. Planet Earth is definitely ghetto, but I'd hate to come back as a fly. Listen, if you do everything that you need to do in the physical realm, you'll never have to come back. Like you don't ever have to come back. You can stay in the spiritual realm and do your thing there. Hang out with your spirit, hang out with your spirit folks over there instead of having to come back here. Nope, I am one and done, and I will end my karmic debts here, and that's it. Exactly. Exactly. Any over promiscuous who never talk safety. Yeah. No, 100%. 100%. My perfect cousin was outed for multiple ABs to get married the right way. Her husband's best friend pillow talked with me. Oh, damn. Same here. People that have wronged me, they got fucked up, dead, have terminal illness. But anytime I try to do revenge, I got karmic backlash. Yeah, that's why I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not trying to build any karmic debt. I'm not. I had like a numerology reader or whatever, like pretty much like do like she like read my palm, and she said that there were 3 karmic debts that I have to pay off in this life, but she said that my good karma will heavily outweigh my bad karma. So I do know for sure that like one of my karmic debts is through like my profession, because I have a lot of karmic debts with the workplace. I've always had a lot of issues at the workplace, and it's just because I have the karmic debt of not working for other people. That's like what I have to fulfill, is to not work for other people. That's why I keep having issues at the workplace. Because I'm an ENTJ. ENTJs are not meant to work for other people. They're not. ENTJs are meant to be self-employed. I would hate to come back as a man. Oh my gosh. If I came back as a man, oh my God. If I came back as a man, oh my God. I would be so pissed. They don't even like themselves to do better. They need a woman to motivate them. Yes, you know that I think about it. That's most women's real lives. I used to feel so bad for Marielle. She was so sweet. What is an ENTJ? So like you can if you type in 16 personalities, you can do a personality test. You can do a personality test. And so you could be an ENTJ, an INTJ. What's the opposite of J? I think it's like ENTA. So ENTJ stands for, I know the A is for assertive, the J is for judgmental, the E is for extrovert, and the N is for I can't remember what the N stands for. I can't remember what the N stands for, but yeah, pretty much you take it's like a semi-lengthy personality test. They ask you those questions where you have to put like it's like the little agree to disagree, and then like highly disagree, like neutral, highly agree, it's like a little range or whatever. You just answer the questions, and they give you your personality, and then they tell you like what careers you would be good for. Yeah, they kind of give you like a layout on like based off of your personality, like kind of like how life would look for you. But ENTJs, they usually they're called the commander, I think. ENTJ is the commander personality. So they're typically in leadership positions. They usually take on like roles of like CEOs. They usually tend to be like philanthropic, very like problem solvers and things like that. Okay, extroverted, intuitive, thinking, judging. Yep, exactly. Exactly. It's the Myers-Briggs test. Same ENTJ here, and I've had issues at every workplace. I'm so relieved to be a boss now. We'll never go back to a 9 to 5 for others. Yes, I'm almost there. As far as my makeup, once I reach 10K subscribers, I will be doing a second channel, and it will be makeup related. So for the girlies that if you like true crime and you like makeup, then you'll like the second channel. You'll like the second channel. I know I'm introverted, but I wonder what the others are. Yeah, take the test, the 16 personalities test, Myers-Briggs test. It's free. It is the free test. Yeah, I really think that any, like I said before, any type of like thing that is related to you on a personal level, so like your birth chart, numerology, your enneagram, your personality, those are like it just life will make more sense. Like once you know these things, you'll look back at your life and you'll understand why things happened the way that they did, and you'll have a lot more questions answered. And then it will also facilitate you on what future decisions you should make for your life and where you should be. They did a study in Capricorns, and all cardinal signs are most likely to be self employed. Yep. Yep, for sure. Definitely. I would like some skincare tips and tricks. Yeah, I like I said before, I'm gonna do makeup, and then I'm also probably gonna do skincare too, because there's people that ask me about my skincare as well. You are almost there, Queen, at 10K. Yeah, I'm almost there. I do believe in the numerology. Yes. Yes, to know thyself. Yeah, it's like the most important thing that you can do. Like those are all when people are like, "Well, I don't know who I am." Like when people ask you, like I feel like that's the question that like when most people die, they're not ever going to be able to answer that question. And that question is, "Who are you? Who are you?" If someone asks you, "Who are you?" and you don't know how to answer that question, then you need to go do some soul searching and you need to dig deeper on who you are. Like if someone were to ask me, "Who are you?" I would say, I'm assertive. I'm very blunt. I'm very confident. I enjoy things. I enjoy curiosity, so I like learning about new things. I like multitasking. I get bored very easily. Um, yeah, like that's who I am. Like that's who I am as a person. Like at the core, I pretty much know all the things about myself. I like to be in a position of leadership. I like to teach people. I like to have room for creative expression. I like the finer things in life. I'm a Virgo in Western and Leo in Vedic. So I'm a Capricorn in Western and I'm a Sagittarius in Vedic. But I'm a Gemini moon in both Vedic and Western. And then I'm a Gemini rising. I'm a Gemini rising and then I'm a Gemini rising in Western and then a Taurus rising in Vedic. Me too. I like Capricorns. I have a lot of Cap friends. Yeah, my best friend's a Sagittarius, and like 90% of her friends are Capricorns. So how do I find out my personality? What site again? 16. So 1-6 personality. Type in 16 personality test. Like just type it into Google and it'll come right up. How can men consciously manage biological impulses, high testosterone, since they are risk takers and like novelty, to maintain healthy, committed relationships? Well, the first thing is that the man he has to control his addiction to dopamine. That's the first thing. He has to control his addiction to dopamine. This is the reason why um women are women have a valid concern when they are dealing with a man who watches like corn and they watch it excessively because that is a form of dopamine. So any type of like stimulation to dopamine repeatedly is harmful. If he's not trying to figure out ways to suppress his dopamine, like I don't deal with men that like to watch corn like that. I don't. That is the first thing. That's the very, very first thing. Um, Aside from that, I don't really think that there's much of anything else that he will be able to do because um, at that point, that's really all that he can honestly do on a conscious level. anything after that will just be nature. Like I do feel like there's some things where it's like for instance, like when men are just so disrespectful and they look at other women, when they're in the presence of the woman that they're with, clear sign that he's addicted to dopamine. Like clear sign that he's addicted to dopamine. Like something is off there. Yeah, any man that watches a lot of corn, and then also men that watch a lot of corn, I really don't believe that. I would pay attention to what they're doing in the bedroom too, because the things that they will try to do in the bedroom will also be reflective of the type of corn that they're watching. So you also have to be mindful of that. Because like I said before, there was a woman who had said that earlier that her ex had choked her in the bedroom. And like I said before, I don't kink shame. There's the whole BDSM community. I don't care about any of that. But whenever there's acts like that, they're usually supposed to be consensual and you're supposed to have a safe word and it's supposed to be like a very safe practice. But this man just choked her without her consent. And then when she looked deeper, he had a felony for choking. It was reported that he was choking people, and he most likely was choking her in the bedroom because that's what he saw on corn. It can be dangerous, girl. It literally changes their brain chemistry and not in a good way. I hope you will be careful and safe, babe. I like most Capricorns too. Practical, sensible, hardworking, and good sense of humor and funny AF too. Oh, thank you. What about the creeps that want to stalk, watch computer, girls on YouTube, trying to see nips with? Yes, that's all form of dopamine. That's all a form of them trying to do dopamine. And I also said before that men that engage in high risk behaviors, they like to race fast cars. They like to gamble. They like to drink. Men that like to do high risk behaviors are also a red flag. Those men are very, very dangerous. Get away from those men. Anytime a man, like men are risk takers. And the thing about it is that with men being risk takers, men don't know how to set boundaries. They don't know how to set boundaries. So when it comes to them being risk takers, they don't have a problem with putting your life at risk as well. Okay, they don't care about putting your life at risk. So when you're with a man that he likes these thrills, so like let's just say that you're with a man and he has all these thrills and he likes to like race fast cars and stuff like that. Don't let that man be behind the wheel and you're in the passenger side and y'all have an argument while y'all are driving. He will speed up the car and he will put your life at risk. What about men who like to fish? I don't think there's anything wrong with that unless you're what's the actor's name? Tom Cruise. Supposedly this is alleged. I'm not trying to get sued. Okay, this is alleged. But supposedly Tom Cruise like goes into aquariums. He will go into aquariums and he will ask for like the largest fish that they have. And then they say that he takes the fish and like he takes the fish out of the bag. Like I guess he's even asked people to like grab a fish and like not put it in a bag with water. And then he will take the fish into the bathroom and then he will come out of the bathroom without the fish. And like people have reported that like he will throw the fish away. And so they believe that like he's pretty much like, yeah, doing that with the fish. That's why their auto insurance is higher. Yes. A guy scared the hell out of me going 100 miles per hour, speeding down like a winding road by a mountain, only two-way. I was quiet and scared as fuck. Yeah, men who drive erratic, men who like drive at a high rate of speed, I don't trust those men at all. I had one date with a guy and like I did let him drive and he was just too aggressive behind the wheel. He was too aggressive behind the wheel and then like he made me feel very uncomfortable. I couldn't wait for that date to end. All the PDF files always say it was corn that got them seeking out CP. Yes. That's why I said those men that watch that stuff, men are just, you have to realize like men are submissive and men like their brains, yeah, men are smooth brained. I'm just gonna fucking say it. Men are smooth brained, most of them. Most of them are smooth brained. So whatever it is that they're watching, whatever information or content that they are taking in, it's imprinting on their brain. Like it's literally imprinting on their brain. So this is the reason why you will have men who have been married for 20 years and they watch one Kevin Samuels video and they're over here talking about they're the prize, they're a high value man. They shouldn't be bowing down to a woman. All it takes is like one fucking video for these guys to get hooked. That's all it takes. That is all it takes for these men to just turn out to be a completely different person. Men are very, very impressionable. They're easily impressionable. And you notice corn addicts usually eventually in seeking more thrilling content and end up seeking TP. Exactly. Because that's the thing about dopamine. So dopamine, what happens is that it's like it's a drug. You have to think of dopamine as a drug. So once you start taking a level of a certain drug, you get a tolerance to that level. And so then what do you have to do? You have to increase the level of the substance that you are taking in order to feel something. So that's what men are doing when they're watching corn. They will start out watching like very basic, simple, like amateur things. Then they will watch more things that are related to like BDSM. And then, then they will go on and they'll keep going down the rabbit hole of things getting more and more violent, things getting more and more vile because the regular stuff is boring. Like the regular stuff is not giving them that spike of dopamine to make them feel anything. So it's like a bump, like how Kevin, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You ladies are hilarious. This man mentions Kevin all the time. I didn't even know who he was, but he skipped over the part with he died, but whatever, how he died, then continue talking about his philosophy. Listen, y'all are gonna, I'm afraid to even say it. I'm afraid to even say it, but I'm gonna say it. So, because I know you guys wanted me to like challenge like red pill content or whatever, and so like I was like looking through Kevin Samuel stuff. I'm really still not sure if I want to react to a dead man's content. I'll just be honest with you. I'm really not sure yet, but there was like a recent video of his that they had like posted or whatever. I'm gonna go to hell for saying this, but in the video that was playing, he was talking. He was like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "I can see it already. Everyone's gonna know my name. I'm gonna be in Hollywood. I'm gonna be walking the runways. I'm gonna be getting modeling jobs. I'm gonna be modeling clothes for high-end luxury companies." And I literally said out loud, I was like, "And you never got to do any of that shit." I'm going to. I literally said it out loud. I was like, and you didn't get to do not any of that shit. There is only hell if you believe in hell. Think about it. That's true. That's true. I really don't believe in it, but you get what I'm saying. I don't want to sound too crass, but I was like, yo ass, you'll never get to be able to do it. Didn't they find out he was a DL, bro? Listen, I ain't nobody even got to tell me that. You could just tell by looking at him. That kitty took him out. Ironic. Exactly. Exactly. And somebody told me that the woman that he was sleeping with was overweight too. And he was the same man that's like, oh, if you're a size 8 and bigger, you're too big. And having all these women tell them their dress size and how much they weigh and how tall they are. Supposedly the woman that he was with the night of his death was actually overweight. Yeah, Erica Venus in Virgo has super high standards in love and beauty for themselves and for others, can be hard on themselves. Perfectionist Kim K has Venus in Virgo. I still never looked into Kevin Samuels. Girl, you ain't ever got to. He ain't talking about anything you want to hear. He ain't talking about anything you want to hear. And after he had said that, I just cut the video off. I'm like, I don't even have the mental energy to be able to do this. But for tomorrow, I do have like it's a short video. It's a short video, but I do have like a reaction to one of these content creators videos that he made. Shira7 mentioned about Kevin. He got more clothes than me. I don't trust a man like that. Girl, when I tell you, and then his shoes was clicking and clacking and all that stuff, I'm like, He got so many clothes and suits, and he was just nothing but a fraud. Talking about he was an image consultant. He was not an image consultant. He was not an image consultant. You know what? Tomorrow that ought to be the video that I have us watch. There's a hopefully I could find the video, but there's a girl that I follow. She did a whole expose on Kevin Samuels. She exposed all his shit. She exposed his divorce papers. She exposed the fact that he really was not a image consultant. He actually scammed several people out of thousands of dollars. I think he scammed one guy out of like $10,000. I think he hired an escort and he got unalived by her. True. He all for looks but has zero substance. Let's be clear. Kevin was sassy. Yeah, and I remember how pissed he would get off that women would call him gay. Kevin Samuels has spoiled a whole heap of men. Girl, he done spoiled the whole congregation of men, child. He ain't talking at all. Yep, he's crooked with he crooked with a fat hoe on top. Oh my God, I'm hollering. Oh, interesting. We all have some shitty placements in our charts, good ones too. Yeah, the biggest thing in my chart is that goddamn Rahu and Scorpio with all that obsession shit happening. That's like the worst part in my birth chart. He in the spirit realm cursing all of us out. He sure is. You be good though, Kevin. Even Kevin's poses were sus. The palm under the chin and Dodie smile. I'm telling you. Gives it away every time. Kevin hit the casket like he hit the wall. Oh, shit. He was walking into the spirit realm in the spiritual, the people that hold the spiritual key, they already knew it was Kevin because they heard his kitten heels. They heard his kitten heels walking up them steps, the spirit steps. They was like, oh, it's kitten heels, y'all. Y'all hear him? It's kitten heels. He has arrived. He couldn't keep a woman talking about us. Exactly. Meow. Click clack it. Exactly. Click clack in like, oh. He would always start off the lives with his fragrances or whatever. So they probably smelled them before they heard them. We smell him. He got on that Santal 55 by Lulabo. Image consultant in rating women's wardrobe appearance is as gay as it comes. Exactly. Gay as hell. I'm sorry. Just a mess and a fraud. But tonight was fun. I had a good time with y'all tonight. I did. I had a good time with y'all tonight. We had a fun time this lovely Saturday night. But I'm about to get off of here, y'all. Just make sure you like the live. Please don't forget to like the live. I want to make sure the likes are good. So don't forget to press the thumbs up. And then if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. The subscriptions are free, okay? And then make sure you click the notification bell. And we'll be back tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow. I'm gonna look into seeing if I can find that video exposing Kevin Samuels, because I think I want to react to that tomorrow, because that would be pretty funny. So I will talk to you ladies, my lovely sovereign sisters, tomorrow. Had a great time with you all, and we will do this again tomorrow. Good night, and I love you all. Bye.